All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you're new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and for waiting patiently for the intro to finish up there. I hope everybody's doing well today. ACM says, finally got to the new Deadpool movie. Got me wanting a Gambit movie or show. Yeah, it was a good movie, man. Better late than never, right? Relax, boss. Boss is over there growling at the door. I guess because Luna's on the other side. IP Gaming says fixed camera, huh? Camera change number 27 logged for the books. Yep. Well, I took in some of the feedback from some of the recent streams. Some people were saying that the camera seemed a bit too far. Or not too far, but too high up. And so I decided to try to work something else out here. And a lot of people seem to like this camera angle better. So I plan to stick with it for now. The posters look crooked. Do they? I don't think so. I think it might be the actual camera lens itself, where it's a bit wider. So I think it creates this kind of like almost bent look a little bit. Maybe that's what's doing it. But we have Waylark with a super chat. He says, don't tell me people are surprised that Xbox are going to make their games PS5 Pro enhanced, LOL. They are a third-party games developer. Makes sense money-wise. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anybody's necessarily surprised, Waylark, to get the confirmation that some of these Xbox Game Studios titles are going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. I don't think that anybody is surprised. I mean, maybe some people are, but I think it just kind of speaks to it feels like we've reached another point, another point where it's like, okay, this is continuing to escalate in terms of, or maybe de-escalate would be the better word to use here. Where it's like we went from, in just like a matter of a year, we went from Microsoft competing directly against the PlayStation 5 console to releasing some of their games on the PlayStation 5 console to announcing they're not doing a mid-gen refresh for Xbox players to announcing we're going to be supporting the competitors, mid-gen refresh console. So again, it's not so much surprising because we've I guess kind of been building up to this, but it's more along the lines of, wow, yeah, here we are. This is it. It's seemingly over. Like for real, for real. No, hold on, guys. Really? Damn. But by the way, it's Mrs. MBG's birthday today. So I'm sure she'll be happy if you guys wish her a happy birthday. Yeah, me and Mrs. MBG's birthdays are very close together. Mine just passed and hers is today. Dome reveal? No dome reveal today. Certainly no dome reveal. But did I see the replacer ads for Call of Duty Black Ops 6? No, I got to check that out. I remember, I think, those ads for like Black Ops 1 and 2. The replacer. It rings a bell. I'll have to check them out. Yeah, I don't know if Mrs. MBG's watching the stream right now or if she's tuning in, but if she doesn't, I'll definitely relay that you guys are wishing her a happy birthday. We appreciate that. Josh says, same month as me. All right, so let me give you guys a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Microsoft confirming that there will be PS5 Pro enhanced games from their studios, which I think is good news overall. I mean, the more support the PS5 Pro gets, the better. We're talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake reviews. They're out, and it sounds like Blooper Team really delivered, maybe surprisingly so. We're talking about Until Dawn because, well, Until Dawn Remake is out today, but apparently the sequel to this game leaked, which is, again, not the most surprising, but we'll go over that. And we have a couple of other bonus topics as well that we'll get to. Did I get Until Dawn? I'm planning on getting it. It just might arrive a little bit later. And, you know, I knew this situation was going to pop up where it's like Silent Hill 2 Remake is out and Until Dawn is out. And they're out pretty much at the same time. And I'm not going to lie, I'm significantly more excited for Silent Hill 2 Remake than I am Until Dawn. And I've been waiting for this game for a long time. So it seems like I'm going to have to kind of prioritize which one I want to play first. And I've decided that I'm going to play Silent Hill 2 Remake first and take my time with that because, again, I've been waiting for that for a long time. And, you know, I'll play Until Dawn afterwards. But yeah, I do plan on playing both. And Waylark with another super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying all Microsoft has to do is say PC Game Pass or Battle.net, best place to play Diablo 4, or, I mean, you say 5 here, but I think you meant 4, since PC still has the better version. They are not that smart. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Microsoft cares anymore about, like, where... I mean, you would think they would care, right? Like, where's the best place to play their games? But it's just going to be an awkward thing where if more and more Microsoft games do get PS5 Pro enhanced, it's not necessarily that the PS5 Pro will be the best place to play them. It could be, but I mean, you know, PC, if you have a powerful enough rig and, you know, the PC port is good, it should perform better than the console. It should look better than the console, but it's just going to be such an awkward thing where it's like, yeah, sorry, Xbox players, like if you want the best console version of our game, you're going to have to go to PlayStation for that. That's so weird to me. You know, that's something that's like, how did we get here? But yeah, I think you're right, Waylark. They could just say that. Maybe they will, but I doubt they will. These cats are over here fighting. But guys, before we dive into these topics and discussions, I do want to just, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Do me a favor, hit that like button. We're sitting at 56 likes. Let's see if we can bump that up to 75 and then up to 100. It really helps the streams. Consider supporting the channel directly. We are completely fan-funded here. You guys make this content possible. You guys make it so that I can continue to do this, and I'm very grateful for that. So consider becoming a channel member. You gain access to some exclusive perks. Consider gifting channel memberships. Consider donating a super chat. You can ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement. There's a fourth way to donate as well. There's a pinned link at the top of the chat. You can leave a message just like a super chat, but 100% of what you donate goes to the content creator. So please consider doing this if it's within your means and you enjoy the content and you want to continue to support the channel and the community. IP Gaming uses his milestone chat and says, MBG, what do I do if I have hot, explosive, acidic diarrhea with enough violent momentum to destroy my kneecaps? I'll be honest, IP Gaming, I don't know. I don't know what you do in that situation. I guess just pray. Pray, man. That I think that's all you can do. I mean, with enough momentum to destroy your kneecaps, we'll be praying for you, man. Yeah, see a doctor afterwards, obviously. Definitely see a doctor afterwards. I mean, I would say it. See, I just want to say, IP Gaming, the way you're phrasing this, you're saying like, what do I do if I have? So it's like you're anticipating this is a thing that may be happening in the near future. You might have time to prevent this, IP Gaming, okay? Before something happens. Maybe go to the doctor now and let them know. And maybe they can do something to prevent this, because that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So I hope everything's okay with you, IP Gaming. Oh, you made homemade chili last night. Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. It might be too late for you, bro. You guys ever see that Chappelle show? I think it was from the Chappelle show episode where he's like sitting on the toilet and he like literally explodes off the toilet. That's basically going to be IP gaming. So sorry to hear that, man. Very good use of your milestone chat, bro. IP gaming is going to be on a toilet like... All right. Sean Mitchell says, just pre-ordered Silent Hill 2 Remake MBG. I've seen enough. 87 on Metacritic. Let's go. Also, happy birthday, Mrs. MBG. Good stuff, Sean. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, so Silent Hill 2 Remake seems to be reviewing very well. And I'm proud, man. I'm proud of Blooper Team. They really, I think, overcame a significant obstacle here. I got, my copy, I think, is already shipped. It should be coming in the next few days. I know that if you... Whoa, Luna, it's not time. Don't. God, Luna's so crazy, dude. She's trying to open up these treats already. Luna, calm down. Calm yourself. But yeah, I'm so happy that Bloober Team, they seemingly delivered, man. I was very skeptical, as you know. If you go back to the 2022 reveal, I remember being like, oh, man, Bloober Team. I don't know, dude. Like, I remember just thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't have much faith in them. I'll give them a chance. I'll root for them, but my confidence isn't there. And to see that every time they showed it, it just looked better and better and better. And now we're at a point where it's like, yeah, dude, this game's sitting in 87 on Metacritic, which is a good score. Like, that's hard to achieve overall. And a lot of reviews are saying very positive things about it. So, yeah, we made it. I'm happy for them, man. So, Sean, I hope it lives up to your expectations too, man. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Luna's scaring me. And Cypherpunk with the super chat. Thank you guys for the super chats saying, who do you think Microsoft is gearing up to buy next, since everything they do now proves they are not trying to hinder the competition with their purchases? Well, it's interesting because there was a new report, and I'm not going to talk too extensively about this just because it seems like if it's something that's going to happen, it's going to happen very soon. But apparently Tencent is in talks right now to potentially acquire Ubisoft. And it makes me wonder if Microsoft might try to come in, and maybe undercut them, maybe offer them something more, offer them more money. I'm sure Microsoft would love to get Ubisoft. I will say this, though. I don't think Microsoft could get Ubisoft because if you remember, the way that they negotiated the cloud deal for Call of Duty was they basically handed it off to Ubisoft. So Ubisoft is basically overseeing any future movement with Call of Duty in the cloud space. So because of that, I think that would actually prevent Microsoft from trying to make a bid for Ubisoft. But I mean, Ubisoft would have been one of my guesses. I did see that Phil Spencer recently just met with the top executive board of Square Enix. I don't think that's for acquisition necessarily. I don't know that Square Enix would be okay with getting acquired by Microsoft. A lot of people believe that it's just not possible for Microsoft to acquire a Japanese publisher. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I don't know if it is possible or not. Money talks, right? But I mean, at this point, man, I'll be honest with you, I could see Microsoft going for anybody. I think that anybody that's willing to sell and anybody that's willing to negotiate with Microsoft, I think Microsoft just sees that as that can support Game Pass. That's more content for Game Pass. That's more day one content for Game Pass. I do think that that's how Microsoft sees it. So basically, I guess my answer, Cypherpunk, is anybody that's willing to even entertain the idea of being purchased, I think Microsoft would be willing to talk to them and see if they can make something work. But I don't know, man. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with Ubisoft. And we have Andreas with a $10 super chat. Also his 10th time super chatting. Thank you for that, Andreas. You're saying, in a great mood today, MBG. Sorry. It's just Luna. She's very distracting. I got an early copy of Silent Hill 2 Remake, and it's incredible. Blooper Team actually pulled it off. Happy belated birthday, by the way. Fun fact, we're birthday twins. Well, that's awesome, dude. And thank you for that. You're super lucky, though, Andreas. I would have loved to get my copy of Silent Hill 2 Remake early. I can't complain, though. I got my copy of Astrobot a day early, which that's like the first time that ever happened. So, you know, I consider that lucky. I will say, it seems like my copy of Silent Hill 2 Remake did ship out already. So it is a Sunday. It wouldn't show up today, but I'm like sitting here wondering, like, is there a chance it'll come tomorrow? But I'm happy to hear that it's awesome. You're saying it's incredible. I'm very excited to play it. And I definitely will talk about it and give my thoughts once I get some time with it. But very excited, man. And appreciate the support, Andreas. And happy birthday to you as well. Happy belated birthday to you. You're saying we're twins, so. Microsoft won't buy Ubisoft, but they will absolutely sue to keep certain others from gaining ABK stream rights. Yeah, I do wonder what would happen there. I mean, I guess would those rights be transferred over to Tencent if Tencent were to, you know, buy them out? Saying it plays like a dream. I had such doubts, but it's better than I ever would have imagined. That's awesome, dude. That definitely gets me excited. I've been hearing just so much positivity in regards to Silent Hill 2 Remake. And we have Connor coming in with a generous super chat here. Connor says Tencent, who are in talks in Ubisoft, has shareholders happy. I did see that. Yeah, that's another thing that's worth mentioning. And Connor, thank you for bringing that up. When it comes to the details surrounding Tencent being in talks to acquire Ubisoft, Ubisoft stock, I think, shot up by like 30%. So you're right. It has shareholders very, very happy. And it does seem like this could be a thing. Like as soon as this upcoming week, like later this week, where we hear Tencent has officially acquired Ubisoft. And obviously, like, you have to ask yourself, like, why would Ubisoft be willing to sell? Well, I mean, if you've been following what's been going on with them, it's been kind of a dumpster fire. You know, their games have been severely underperforming. A lot of projects, if not mismanaged, just not really doing the type of heavy lifting that would be needed in order to keep the company flowing the way it wants to smoothly. And it's not good. You know, you have something like Star Wars Outlaws massively underperforming. Apparently, Star Wars Outlaws reportedly only sold 1 million units, which is like, that sounds pretty bad, man. Like, I'm not saying 1 million units in and of itself is bad, but when you consider it's an open world AAA Star Wars game, dude, only 1 million units? I can tell you right now, they were not expecting that. They were expecting a lot more than that. And, you hear that, and then apparently that triggered the delay of Assassin's Creed, which doesn't happen, but they're clearly shook. They're clearly very nervous that, oh man, we might be in trouble here. And then you see their stock completely tanking, and now they're in talks to maybe be bought out. I mean, this is what happens, man. When companies start to show signs of potential vulnerability and weakness, this is when these other companies kind of try to swoop in and be like, we could buy you. We do it. So absolutely, Connor, it does seem like right now shareholders are very happy. We'll have to continue to monitor this and see what happens, because I don't know what would happen to Ubisoft. Like, I don't know what would change if they were purchased by Tencent. I can only assume there would be significant changes. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Tencent as a company. I did see some people saying that this would be pretty bad overall. I don't know. I don't know enough to be able to speak to that. But I definitely think that if Ubisoft was purchased by Tencent, a lot of things would change. One of the things that I think would be guaranteed, I will tell you this. Yeah, Henry 3K is pointing this out. If Ubisoft is purchased, it doesn't matter who purchases them. But if they are purchased and they are acquired, you're going to see mass layoffs, like mass layoffs. And the reason why I say that is because Ubisoft has like 20,000 employees or something. They have like an unbelievable headcount. And I can tell you right now, any company that decides to take that on, especially while the company is floundering and struggling financially, you're going to see it's going to be rough. But I guess that would kind of be expected. Broccoli Rob uses his 15-month milestone chat. He says, I won 20K at work yesterday from some performance contest in September. Was absolutely insane. Replaying Bloodborne right now. Can I borrow $1? Bro says he won $20,000 and then asked if he can borrow $1. Broccoli Rob, I'm going to have to flip it on you now. Can I borrow $1, bro? Can I borrow $1? That's awesome to hear, though, Broccoli Rob. Congratulations. I'm sure that must have been like, I don't know. I've never experienced what it's like to win like a large sum of money like that. I mean, I've experienced getting like some large donation sums and stuff and like 50 bombs, which is very exciting. But man, winning 20K, very impressive. Very impressive. So congratulations, Broccoli Rob. Enjoy your money. And you're celebrating by playing Bloodborne. That's awesome. You're saying the entire floor erupted. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, congrats, bro. Congrats. Love to hear it. I'm sorry, guys. My cats are so annoying. Hold on. Damn, IP Gaming. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. My cats genuinely just can't decide if they want to stay in this room or leave. Cypherpunk with a super chat says, at this rate, Microsoft and Tencent are going to own most franchises. Yeah, it does seem like this is the direction we're headed in, and this is what consolidation leads to, and it doesn't always have to be bad, but it's always, I would say, it's a good sign for the industry. It makes for a healthier industry when you have more independent publishers. The more independent publishers you have, the better. The less you have, and once everything just starts kind of all getting bunched up into just a couple of owners overall, that's when things can get a little bit concerning, because I mean, it's why, like, when people look at Disney, right? They're like, man, Disney owns like too much, and when a company like Disney decides like we're going to mandate certain things and this is the direction we're going to go in, all of those franchises, all of that IP, everything that's underneath them goes with it, and that's why it's like good to kind of have these things somewhat separate, because they can kind of go in different directions and we can get a better idea of like, what does the market prefer, so overall it leads to less options, I would say, but it's the nature of the beast, man. IP Gaming saying he can't feel his knees. Well, that's concerning, bro. Hang in there, IP Gaming. Cypherpunk, thank you for the super chat. I want to go over this report really quick. PlayStation Lifestyle says, ever since Sony officially announced the PS5 Pro, players have been wondering if the console will be supported by Xbox Game Studios. Microsoft has acquired a large number of multi-platform developers who previously supported the PS4 Pro, so it's a legitimate question, and we've received our first answer. Diablo franchise general manager Rod Ferguson has confirmed that Diablo 4 and its Vessel of Hatred expansion will both be PS5 Pro enhanced. His statement came in response to fan questions on X, and his tweet implies that Blizzard has been working behind the scenes to enhance the game for Sony's upcoming hardware. So somebody on X says, hey, Rod Ferguson, any idea if Diablo 4 will be getting a PS5 Pro update? Rod Ferguson replied by saying, I've been getting this question quite a bit recently, and I'm happy to say that Diablo 4 and Vessel of Hatred will indeed be PS5 Pro enhanced. Very proud of our hardworking team to make this happen. More details at a later date. So this is like officially the first Microsoft-owned game, or Microsoft-owned studio, I should say, that is coming out saying we are enhancing our game for the PS5 Pro. And so what this tells me is that we're going to continue to see this. We think about something like Indiana Jones, right? Indiana Jones, um, it's something that at first, people were not thinking was going to come to PlayStation. And then just like out of nowhere, it was kind of the big one more thing announcement from Microsoft at Jeff Keighley's last show at Gamescom. And, it does seem like what we are going to ultimately see here are a lot of the games that maybe would end up PS5 Pro enhanced if they were like independent, right? Like, yeah, we're going to enhance them for the PS5 Pro. Seems like we're going to start to see that, but I don't know. I just can't help but think right now about like Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is right around the corner. It's releasing in just a couple of weeks, and there's no word on that game being PS5 Pro enhanced. And I wonder if Microsoft is being somewhat strategic about this, where maybe they're going to make it so that new, like just released games like Call of Duty are not going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. Because, I mean, if you think about it, like it's not necessarily a good look. Right now, Microsoft is marketing the crap out of Black Ops 6 being on Game Pass day one, which is understandable. Like, yeah, market that. That's what you want people to go to. But if they were to simultaneously also make the announcement and it's PS5 Pro enhanced, then people are like, so I can play Black Ops 6 on Game Pass on the PS5 Pro. It's like, no, you can't. You have to decide. Do you want to play it on Game Pass? I mean, you could get the, I guess, best version of it on PC if you want to play it on PC Game Pass, but it's just, it's an awkward look, I think, if Microsoft, because I mean, something like Diablo 4, it's been out for a little while. I think this is one of those things where they kind of view as like, this could help us, but it'll be really interesting to see with games like Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and even more so if Microsoft is planning on bringing more of their games to PlayStation in the long run. I mean, are we going to eventually see a situation where it's like, here's Hellblade 2, PS5 Pro enhanced? I mean, how weird would that be, right? Or if Gears of War or Halo are eventually ever going to come to PlayStation, which I don't know if they are or not, but if they are, like, are they going to be PS5 Pro enhanced? Because that's going to be, I think, a whole different situation than what we're seeing right now. Perfect Image says, since wokeness came into gaming, more devs are getting fired. Is there a correlation, Perfect Image? Is there a through line here, Perfect Image? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Austin Garrett uses his milestone chat, a member for 13 months, says, I love PlayStation Plus Premium. I love Game Pass Ultimate. I love pre-ordering games. I support all of Nintendo. Oh, I like The Last of Us 2 more than The Last of Us 1. Austin, you've just triggered me in like 6 different ways. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people, I think, who utilize all these different options, right? They utilize PlayStation Plus, like Extra and Premium, but they also utilize Game Pass. But you're saying you support all of Nintendo. Austin, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Austin. Yeah, you can tell Broccoli Rob's been playing Bloodborne. Waylark, you're saying a sale is a sale for Microsoft at this point. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I feel like it depends on whether or not anything Microsoft is doing could potentially take people away from Game Pass. And I do wonder about the PS5 Pro. That's where it's like, obviously, Microsoft knows Call of Duty is going to sell extremely well on PlayStation. They know they're going to make a lot of money off the PS4 and PS5 user base. But we are in this kind of situation where how far do you want to take it? Where you don't want to encourage people to go to PlayStation to buy Call of Duty. I think that's kind of the difference here, is that maybe the reason why Black Ops 6 isn't getting PS5 Pro enhanced yet is because Microsoft might fear that if Sony can, because Sony's in full marketing mode for the PS5 Pro, and if Sony were to find out that Call of Duty's PS5 Pro enhanced, they would probably tout that, not market it aggressively, but just keep letting people know, like, hey, it's PS5 Pro enhanced. This is a PS5 Pro enhanced game, and maybe that's something Microsoft would have to agree to. Where it's like every other game that's been announced for PS5 Pro, but, Sony's basically marketing it. So I don't know. I just wonder if maybe Microsoft is a little bit hesitant here, where maybe the reason why it might matter for them is because it's like, well, we don't want people to basically feel like they have to decide between, do I want to subscribe to Game Pass to play it, or I could, maybe I will buy the PS5 Pro and get a better version of it. It'll be much more expensive, and obviously there's a huge price gap there, but that's the only thing I can think. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the only reason Black Ops 6 isn't PS5 Pro enhanced is just because it's not ready yet, But I do think it's interesting that, Rod Ferguson, he's like, yeah, our game Diablo 4 is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced, but it's like radio silence for something like Call of Duty. So we'll see what they do there. And we have a direct donation from ACM. Thank you for that, buddy. Let me bring it up here. You say, bro, did you know when you cut the grass tries to summon wasps, insects to attack you? That's what the freshly cut lawn smell is. That can't be true. ACM, I feel like this is nonsense. There's no way. Is that true? Can somebody verify this? I've never heard that in my life, ACM. Where did you hear this? I mean, I feel like if that was true, ACM, like, landscapers would be under constant attack. I think ACM's just trying to make me even more terrified of the outdoors. Shem says his grass doesn't work like that. It's a defense system against caterpillars from eating it. I'm going to have to look into this. I mean, my father-in-law is a landscaper, so I feel like he would know. I'm going to have to talk to him about this. I swear I've never heard this in my life. And what's funny too is a lot of people like the smell of freshly cut grass. A wasp tried to make its way into... Yeah, wait, is Gaming Survivor here? I gotta know if Gaming Survivor's here, because, I know he more than most people will appreciate what I'm about to say, but there was a yellow jacket trying to make its way into my home yesterday, trying to get through the window, and I tried. I sat there for like 10 minutes trying to like shoo it away and like get out, like go outside, like don't come in here. And it just wouldn't listen. And it was relentless, and so I had to break out the WD-40, bro. I didn't feel good about it, but I had to break out the WD-40. ACM, you're saying that's the grass crying for help, LMAO. Yeah, the grass is like... It's like screaming in agony, and we're just like... I love the smell of freshly murdered grass. I always thought about that, how like plants, they're like a living thing, like they are alive. And when we like do stuff to them, it's like, do they feel anything? How would we know? I mean, they don't have like a nervous system, so, right? Hey, Sam, why you got me going in this direction, bro? Thank you for the insight, though, ACM, and thank you for the direct donation. I'll have to talk to my father-in-law about this. Get his opinion. Mako Energy, there you go. Kane G7 says, yo, MBG, did you hear that Tencent is on the way to buying Ubisoft? Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit, Kane. We did talk about that. So I'm sorry you're a little bit late to it, but yeah, it seems like something's about to happen there. And we also have Cypherpunk. He says, Pro is for the diehards. You really think the casuals who mostly play COD are going to spend $700 if it gets enhanced? No, I would say it's not necessarily the casuals, right? Because maybe that's it's worth mentioning here, Cypherpunk. It's only October 4th. I think Call of Duty comes out October 25th. So we have like multiple weeks. You could make the argument that the next couple of weeks are the biggest marketing push. Maybe this is something they're going to announce. I'm just jumping to the conclusion that Call of Duty isn't going to be PS5 Pro enhanced, but maybe it is. Maybe they're actually going to announce that. And it wouldn't be shocking if they did, because I do think you're right. Like, I don't think Microsoft is worried about casuals leaving Game Pass to go buy a $700 PS5 Pro. I just don't think that makes any sense. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't know that Microsoft wants to really help out Sony's console efforts that much, because I think it's cool. Like, I want to make it clear. I think this is a cool thing that Microsoft is doing. As much as I want to turn to them and be like, why? Like, why did it come down to this? Like, why? Like, I feel like really what we should be seeing right now, we should be seeing Microsoft marketing their mid-gen refresh console and announcing that Call of Duty is enhanced for their console and not the PS5 Pro. And that would suck for me as somebody who is looking forward to playing Call of Duty this year, but also on PS5. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing just basically the opposite of that, where they haven't announced it's PS5 Pro enhanced, but they're like, I don't know. It's just so weird that, like, the company that went from trying to take down the PlayStation console just a year and a half ago is now basically like, we're gonna kind of support it now. It's very very strange. And so I feel like you're probably right, Cypherpunk. I don't think there's anything behind Call of Duty not being PS5 Pro enhanced. I think it will end up being PS5 Pro enhanced at some point. Maybe they just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're working on it now. Maybe they're trying to figure out PSSR, something along those lines. You guys want Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox? No. See, that's the thing. I'm not saying I want that, but it's the idea that, like, if we looked at last generation, right? The Xbox One X, the PS4 Pro, Microsoft did everything they could to make sure the Xbox One X was going to outperform the PS4 Pro, and it worked. And we look at games like Red Dead Redemption 2 that ran at like native 4K on the One X, to whereas on the PS4 Pro, they ran at like 1600, 1800p. And to a lot of people, that was like, whoa, okay. And that's where I'm saying, like, Microsoft really was trying to get aggressive in that space. And so it's not about it being like, it's not about it being exclusive as much as it's just about, again, the competitive nature in the console space, where when people say Microsoft has given up or Microsoft is done, like, they're not talking about at least they shouldn't be talking about as a brand. As a brand, they're going to be just fine. As a brand, they're about to make a killing with Black Ops 6 releasing. They're going to make more money than they probably ever have in the gaming sector, certainly. So from that perspective, they're doing just fine and they're not giving up. But it has to do with the traditional console competition, the traditional console market, and how it's a wild turn of events, in my opinion, to not only see Microsoft just skip a mid-gen refresh, but also now some of their teams are coming out and saying, like, yeah, we're going to support the PS5 Pro. I'm happy about that. Like, I think that's a good, like, as somebody who plays on PlayStation, I'd rather see that, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's just still one of these things where it's like, it all happened so fast, man. What happened? What happened? But I guess, this is where we are. Sean Mitchell, thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're saying, does Bloober Team deserve their flowers after reviewing so good? They were almost classed a bit of an underdog, making this game they were written off many times. What a turnaround they've had. I think the answer to that is yes, Sean. And I think to say otherwise would be a bit unfair. I'm not saying that, anybody has to necessarily be excited for whatever Bloober Team does next, but I do think that they proved something. I think that they went into this project knowing that they had something to prove, And I think you're completely right, Sean. If you look at what people were saying, people were very critical, man. People were very, very critical towards Bloober Team. In fact, earlier on, back in like 2022 and early 2023, I remember people just flat out being like kind of mean, just being like straight up kind of mean to Bloober Team and like basically turning to Konami and be like, I can't believe this is who you chose to do this. Like, you trust these guys? And Bloober Team was basically like, give us a chance. Like, we know the importance of this. And so the fact that it's out, or at least the reviews are out, and some people are getting their copies early, but everybody who's playing it is saying pretty much the same thing, that like, yeah, they did it. Like, this is one of the best remakes ever. Like, they did a phenomenal job. And I think that's where you do have to give Bloober Team their flowers, where it's like, look, I don't know what to expect with a new game from you guys, but you're a team that went into this, like you're saying, with being somewhat of an underdog. I think people already counted them out, and then they came out and they're like, here it is, here it is. We put everything into it, and I think it's great, man. Like, there's a lot of negativity in the gaming industry, as you guys know. There's a lot of nonsense. There's a lot of animosity, a lot of resentment. And so to just see, it's such a positive outcome here, we do need to shine a light on it. We do need to acknowledge that this is a team that, again, they had something to prove. And I don't want to like overstate it. I don't want to give them more credit than is what needed, but it's nice, man, because if you think about it, like, it could have went the other way around. We could have seen a situation where it was like, it was a dumpster fire and they messed it up entirely and they screwed it up. And that would have been horrible, because it's like, damn, even after all this time, like, we still can't get a proper remake of Silent Hill, or, Konami still can't get it right. But we didn't get that. We got the opposite. We got something that seems like it's going to make the fans very happy and stays very true to the original game while still offering that modern take on it. Marius says, no way this is an effing 10. I don't know, man. That's why I'm saying, like, this game got multiple, I think, 10 out of 10 scores. Okay, you're saying perhaps the parity clause COD has prevents Microsoft from doing a Pro enhanced version. How ironic would that be? That would be so funny, dude, and also so disappointing at the same time, because you might be right, where Microsoft's like, Sony, you wanted a parity clause. You wanted a parity clause. You got it. You got it. I don't know, though. I don't know how far that would extend. I would assume, honestly, dude, if Microsoft wants to enhance the game for PS5 Pro, like, they would be, like, it would only benefit them. You know what I mean? Like, they could use that. Because think about it. Like, Sony made the argument, like, we're afraid you're going to degrade our game. Not our game, but our version of it. We're afraid you're going to purposely sabotage it. And Sony got laughed at for this. And so if Microsoft were to come out and enhance, Black Ops 6 for the PS5 Pro, they would be able to just kind of make Sony look a little stupid, where it's like, you guys thought we were going to degrade your version. We actually did the opposite. We're supporting your mid-gen console, and we're giving you the best console version. If you think about it, that would be kind of an ace up Microsoft's sleeve that they could use in court if they did have to go to court, which I would assume they would, if they wanted to acquire another publisher or something. Cypherpunk, you're saying, we always talk about how they are done with their own console, so it makes sense for them to support any platforms their games are on. Agreed. It does make sense. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm like rooting for Microsoft here. I am, because I am looking forward to Call of Duty. We're getting closer to it. I'm a sucker for Black Ops, I'm a sucker for it. And as it gets closer, I'm getting a little bit more excited about playing it. And, there's a part of me that's like, man, that's great that Diablo 4 is getting PS5 Pro enhanced. Like, come on, Microsoft. Come on. Make it happen for Black Ops 6. And, they get I give them credit for that, man. I give them credit for that if they do it. I give Microsoft credit, generally speaking, where it's like, I don't think they have to support the PS5 Pro. They don't have to. And it's clear that they're letting their studios kind of have the freedom. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe it has nothing to do with Microsoft. Maybe it's just a studio thing. Maybe there are going to be some studios that do support the PS5 Pro, but some that just don't for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, if you listen to the way Rod Ferguson talked about it, he almost made it seem like it was the team. Like, they're like, yeah, they've been working hard on it. Like, they wanted to. So, yeah, got to give the credit where it's due, man. Microsoft seemingly has made it clear that, because I talked about Microsoft, and we'll see. I want to make it clear, like, it's still a little too early to determine. We got to see what Microsoft does with their next console. When Microsoft rolls out their next generation console, we will have our answer definitively. But right now, it seems like they're not trying to keep anything away from anybody, and at least not in the way that we suspected they would. There was this kind of feeling when Microsoft announced that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard. That's like, oh, they want to murder Sony. Like, they're going to take them out. They're going to make Call of Duty exclusive. They're going to try to destroy Sony. And that's what makes it so interesting to kind of see. Actually, they've seemingly been doing the opposite. Like, they've almost been kind of supporting Sony, and it's just, is there a chance that Microsoft could be doing all of this to bamboozle everybody in the future and make everybody think that they're down and out and that they've given up and that they're weak and that they're going to just support all the competition, and then boom, they come out with their next gen console and they go berserk and they're like, psych. Turns out we are actually going all the way back in, and it sounds like, the more I say it out loud, it's like, it sounds pretty unbelievable. Like, I don't think they would do that. I think this really is just like like, publishing is now more valuable to Microsoft than the platform itself, believe it or not. I think that's kind of the view that they have. Although maybe rather than saying more valuable than the platform, I think the platform that was Xbox transformed into Game Pass. Like, Game Pass is now the platform. And yeah, they have a storefront and everything, and that's still valuable. That still means something, and there's still millions of people that use it. But I think it's really like, Game Pass is the platform that we see as the future. And outside of Game Pass, we're going to support any storefronts that are willing to have our games, or that we're willing to put our games onto. And if you think about it, man, like, as we've said time and time again, like, that attitude for Microsoft, it's not a bad attitude, but that attitude is completely antithetical to what the console basically represents and what the console is supposed to do. So it's all part of the bigger plan. They haven't acquired all they want yet. I could see them getting more publishers and then going exclusive with their IP and library if it's strong enough. See, well, that's the thing, is like, I don't think it's about exclusivity, dude. I think it's just about pure power in terms of just raw size and volume. Because think about it. Like, if you are a publisher, if you're a video game publisher, you're a platform holder as well, but you're mainly known for publishing because of the amount of studios you own. Let's just say Microsoft were to acquire, it's not going to happen, but let's just, for shits and giggles, they acquire Take-Two Interactive. Okay. Or EA, right? Whichever one. Just another massive, like, oh my God, how do they have, now they have Bethesda, they have Activision, now they have Take-Two, or now they have EA. I don't think it can happen. I don't know if that's possible for them. But if you think about it, like, they don't need exclusivity at that point. They don't, because they will be like, look, I think Call of Duty is like the perfect example where it's like, Microsoft is in unlosable situation. Like, the only way Microsoft loses, it's not because of anything Sony does or Nintendo or any other publisher for that matter. Microsoft is basically their own. They can become their own worst enemy, where the only way Microsoft loses is if they lose hold of Call of Duty, right? Like, if Call of Duty, like it just turns to shit in like the next 5 years, and suddenly it's like Microsoft is like, okay, this is a lot harder than we thought. Like, we kind of bought these guys just thinking that, the wheel would keep turning, the cogs would keep turning, and we just grease it occasionally and it's good, but the whole thing broke down. Now we got to fix it. And in trying to do that, we don't know how to fix it. We don't know how to do this. If that were to happen, that would create a situation where it's like, right now you have a win-win-win, because it's just, we put it on Game Pass, we get a Game Pass subscriber. We put it on PlayStation, we get a full purchase PlayStation sale. We put it on the we put it anywhere. Put it on Switch eventually. Full-blown Switch sale, But what happens when the game becomes less desirable, if that were to happen, and the game goes to shit? Then you lose on all fronts. So it's win big, or it's go big, win big. But in going big, if you lose, you're going to lose big too. And Capono comes in and drops the first membership gift of the day. Capono 5150, getting us started. Guys, yeah, consider dropping some membership gifts. If we hit the 25 mark today, we'll feed the beast. You know how it is. Boss is in here somewhere. I know Luna is too. So Capono, thank you for that, bro. But yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to describe right now, is that, like, Microsoft has the biggest possible safety net that a company could ask for, in that they own, an insane amount of IP, an insane amount of studios, some of the most valuable IP in the world, some of those valuable studios in the world. And because of that, yeah, we can, if Call of Duty doesn't produce a lot of Game Pass subscribers, that's okay, because it's going to produce a lot of sales. No. Yeah. All right, let me see. But yeah, the thing is too, like, in a way, I think Sony has to kind of root for Microsoft a little bit. Just a little bit. The reason why I say that is because think about what I just said. If Call of Duty were to go to complete shit one day, in the next like 3, 4, 5, 6 years, it's just like, here's Black Ops 9, and like everybody hates it. It's like, you guys ruined it or whatever. And the sales are tanking, and the name, like, it still does okay, but nowhere near what it used to. That's going to hurt Sony too. You know what I mean? Because that means less people are going to buy this game on PlayStation. So it's a really interesting turn of events where PlayStation's greatest strength, you could argue, I'm not saying I see it this way, but you could make the argument that PlayStation's greatest strength in all these years was being a great platform for publishers, having a great storefront for publishers. And so now they have to kind of treat Microsoft that way. They do. They have to kind of treat Microsoft that way. It's like, well, yeah, they're like one of the biggest publishers now, so we kind of have to care about the health of them too. Very interesting how it all turned out. Boss is here. No, we're not doing that. Pain in my ass, dude. I got a couple more super chats here. Let's see. We have Gord. He says, Silent Hill 2 had such an impact on my taste in media. Me and my brother were little playing Silent Hill 2. We had our mom go... Hold on, it cut off there. Hold on one sec. Saying we had our mom go turn off the PS2. We were so scared. Saying hard MBG. Thank you for that, man. Yeah, Silent Hill 2 is such a amazing classic. I mean, Silent Hill in general, I think that... I mean, I don't. It obviously peaked a long time ago, but I know some people are wondering like if Konami's gonna be able to really do more with this franchise in a meaningful way. And even the way I look at it is even if they don't, like even if they can't, if they try and they fail, getting something like Silent Hill 2 Remake and seeing that it was actually done very well, it makes me feel pretty good because it's like, okay, at least we'll always have that. But that's awesome, dude. The nostalgia. Waylark, you're saying, well, Starfield got 10 out of 10 scores. That's true, Waylark, but how many? Did you guys see, dude, Waylark, you're bringing up Starfield. I haven't been paying much attention, but I've been seeing it kind of pop up on my feed. The Shattered Space DLC is sitting at like a 58 or something on Metacritic. Like, what the hell? What's going on with Bethesda, man, and Starfield? It really seems like they've fallen from grace here. It's at a 54 now? Oh my God. Was it? Yeah, I don't know, man. Wasn't this supposed to be like the DLC to like bring the game back or deliver the version of Starfield that everybody was expecting or whatever? Saying Microsoft happened. I don't know that I don't know that it's Microsoft's fault. I mean, the buck stops with them. Like, yeah, that's your game now, Microsoft. That's your studio. But it really just seems like Bethesda has fallen off, man. He's saying it's the Xbox tax, obviously. Yes, clearly. Microsoft bought Bethesda when they were already past their prime. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Elder Scrolls 6, right? Maybe it all hinges on that, because if Bethesda messes up the Elder Scrolls 6, I think it's safe to say it's over for them, Come on, bro. Oh, careful, boss. Yeah, I gotta say, I was hesitant to get this new cat tower, this double wide cat tower for boss. Really glad I did, because he really enjoys it. He finds it very comfortable. He has a lot more space up there. He's looking at me like, so where are those treats? Okay, you're saying UD2 is a good candidate for PlayStation to try day and date on PC. Until Dawn 2. Yeah. That would be an interesting one to go with. The only problem with Until Dawn 2, I would say, in terms of trying to go day and date on PC, well, I don't know if it's a problem. Maybe it does line up. It's clearly years away, Until Dawn 2, from at least based off the job listings, they use the terminology next gen. Like, it almost sounds like it's going to be a PlayStation 6 game. So maybe that would be the right time, okay, for Sony to try to experiment and see, like, let's just see what happens if we put Until Dawn 2 on PC the same day as PlayStation. Not like this, Wes. Not like this, bro. Not like this. Well, I guess we'll continue to monitor what Microsoft chooses to do in this space, because, again, man, just to kind of give a quick rundown before we move on to the next topic, Microsoft, in the span of less than 1 year, it's been, I think, about 10 months, they went from, still full steam ahead with their console plan and exclusivity and Game Pass. And we went from that to here we are. The PS5 Pro is about to come out. Microsoft is announcing that some of their studios are going to support it. And we are also kind of waiting to say, I want to put this out here real quick, actually, because I just thought of it. Does anybody else find it a little bit interesting that the second wave of Xbox games have not been announced for PlayStation yet, or Nintendo? Anybody? Because I don't know. I was kind of thinking about this, and I'm like, is Microsoft waiting? Are they waiting because they basically want to see what happens with Call of Duty on Game Pass before proceeding with any more announcements? Is it possible? I was just thinking about that because there were like rumors for months that, Microsoft has more games that they're going to announce coming to PlayStation, and they have this whole, Project Latitude and whatnot. I'm like, well, I mean, we haven't heard much. It's been kind of like radio. I mean, the last game was Indiana Jones, but honestly, like, I do wonder if maybe, is it possible that Indiana Jones needed to be announced for PS5 because that was like a Disney thing? They're like, guys, we need you to put this on PS5. And you're like, okay. No, I know. That's why I'm acknowledging Indiana Jones, because I'm like, well, I just find the timing of it interesting. That's all. Like, I genuinely am wondering if they're kind of waiting to see what Call of Duty does to Game Pass and if that will have any influence over how they proceed with Project Latitude. Like, for example, if Call of Duty comes out and it skyrockets Game Pass subs, I mean, it just like blows up. Is it possible that Microsoft might say, you know what? Hold on now. Maybe we don't announce these games for PlayStation because we don't need to. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe that's a possibility. But I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. Sit back here a little bit. Waylark with another super chat. Thank you, buddy. You're saying Starfield got 20 10 out of 10 scores. Oh, did it? Really? 8 on PC and 12 on Xbox. So yeah, not many, but more than I thought. That is more than I would have thought, yeah. How did they get 20 10 out of 10 scores? And what's it sitting out on Metacritic? Like an 82 or an 83 or something? Not that that's bad, but like, that's just crazy to me. Well, I think it's because the way Metacritic works is different outlets hold more weight than others. Like, every score is a weighted score. So, like, I guess if you're getting 10 out of 10s from outlets that are not, they don't carry as much weight, I guess I could have a minimal impact. Yeah, that's more than I would have thought, though, Waylark. Cypherpunk says maybe Microsoft is waiting for Switch 2 to be announced. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point. That could be what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know. I keep forgetting about the Switch 2, where I talk about it like, oh, wait, yeah, that wasn't announced yet. That still hasn't happened. Sometimes it feels like it did, but then you're like, wait, no, it didn't. There's just all these rumors. But guys, I want to move on to this topic for a moment. This is kind of a bonus topic. I didn't list it earlier, but I'm curious to see what you guys think of this. So Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered was recently revealed to a mixed reception, but that $10 upgrade option appears to have won over most Push Square. Well, this is coming from Push Square, so they're saying most Push Square readers. Dedicated support studio Nixus is at the project's helm, assisting in enhancing Guerrilla's open-world action game for PS5. In an interesting turn of phrase, one developer recently said in reference to Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, quote, after 5 PlayStation PC ports, the first big PlayStation content project from Nixus Software is coming up, end quote. This tidbit is about a week old, but it was spotted on LinkedIn. We could be reading into things a bit too much here, but the phrasing certainly sounds like more content projects are planned. We verified the post, which remains up at the time of this writing. And so who knows, with rumors of a Days Gone remaster starting to snowball, perhaps Sony truly does plan to keep simply refreshing past hits. Now, I wanted to let you guys know about this because this is Nixus Software. This was a studio that Sony bought, and when Sony bought them, basically they were bought as the PC support studio. They were the studio that you're just going to keep porting games to PC. That's going to be your dedicated job. But as people noticed with Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, people were surprised to find that, oh, wait, Nixus did this. Nixus did the remaster, not Guerrilla. That's interesting. And so this is the first remaster project we're seeing from Nixus. Not a PC port, but an entire remaster. what I think Sony is doing with Nixus is Sony is turning Nixus into the next Bluepoint, where Bluepoint Games is no longer remaking or remastering games. I don't know if people know this. I think most people do, or at least they should know, but I still see some people thinking that Bluepoint's going to remake Bloodborne or something, or they're going to remake Metal Gear Solid 1 or whatever, or remake some PlayStation game. It's like, they're not doing that. Bluepoint Games is making a new game, an original game. And from that point forward, that's what they're going to do. That's what that studio is going to do. They're going to make their own stuff. And so what I think is that Nixus is now being essentially built to be not just a PC port studio, but I think Nixus is meant to become the new Bluepoint that's going to remaster and maybe one day eventually remake games as well. And we have Hellbound 1981, the legend. The legend returns with gifts. He drops 5 more membership gifts for you guys. Let's get some W's flowing in the chat for our good friend Hellbound. Always showing amazing support for the community here. Thank you for that, Hellbound.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He's trying to get us to that 25 mark, guys, so we can feed the beast. So, Hellbound, let's see if you kick off a little member train here, but that brings us up to 6 members. So we still got a ways to go. I will say, if somebody wants to drop a 20 bomb, that gets us over the line. So, Hellbound set you up there. Let's see, where are we at? Good stuff, man. Appreciate all the support. But I just wanted to kind of throw this to you guys because I don't, we heard that Days Gone Remastered. Jeff Grubb confirmed that game's coming. Like, that's a thing that's happening. And I just wonder if maybe the reason why Nixus, because here's another thought, right? People are wondering, like, wait, why are we getting Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered? Why are we getting Days Gone Remastered? Maybe Nixus is just trying to, basically get some good practice in. Like, they're trying to learn how to properly remaster games. And once they start getting more familiar with these different engines and the way that PlayStation Studios develops their games, maybe they can start working on other projects. I don't know. I might be jumping to conclusions here, but I do think it's very noteworthy that Nixus Software is, they've basically decided, like, we're going to start remastering games here, or at least Sony made that decision for them or whatever, And we have OK coming in, dropping another single membership gift for you guys. OK's like, bro, we got to keep this member train going right now. Okay, good stuff, bro. That takes us to, I said bro twice there, but that takes us to 7 members on the day. So we'll see, man. We'll see if we can keep this little member train going, see how far we can take it. Good stuff, man. Always appreciate the support, guys. Nixus is getting the hang of using PlayStation engines. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's kind of, that was kind of what I was leaning towards. Butcher says he's 100% good with a Days Gone remaster. Great game. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I'll tell you what, I'd be more excited for a Days Gone remaster right now than I am for Horizon Zero Dawn. I think the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is fine. I don't have a problem with it, but I would be more excited to play Days Gone. IP Gaming, you're saying Guerrilla worked with Nixus to make the remaster and PC port at the same time. Nixus didn't exactly make the remaster. Yeah, that's true. I guess, yeah, they do have Guerrilla Games listed there. I would assume that Nixus took care of the bulk, though, Like, that's my assumption. I would imagine they took care of the bulk of it, but maybe that's kind of how it'll work, is like developers who don't have much to do on certain projects but are still part of the studio. And I don't know, like, for example, if Nixus is remastering Days Gone, are there some Ben Studio developers working with them? See, IP Gaming, that's interesting to me. Yeah, maybe you're right about that. I don't know. You're saying Nixus took care of the PC port, not the bulk of it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could be right, man. You could be right. I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out. Well, I don't know though. See, I don't know. That's the part that's worth paying attention to here is the developer says the developer from Nixus, their first big PlayStation content project. So like the way I'm reading that, and again, maybe we are reading too much into it, but the way I'm reading that is like, so you worked on the PlayStation side of things, like not just the PC side, but the PlayStation side as well. I don't know. I guess we'll find out as time goes on. OK drops another super chat saying, really enjoying Sifu on PC Game Pass. Quite challenging. Yeah, man, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it, OK. It's a great game. Sifu is one of my favorite games ever. Wait until you get to that final boss, man. But Sifu is one of those games I noticed that, like, it can take a while to really get really good at. Take some practice, but once it clicks, man, it clicks and you become like just an absolute beast, an absolute monster. Has anyone platinumed Sifu? I platinumed it, Hanzo. That's one of the platinums I'm most proud of. It was a tough one, yeah. I wonder which platinum was harder to get for me, Sifu or Liza P, because I had the Liza P platinum as well, and that was quite challenging. I almost lost my mind with that one. I think Liza P may have been more difficult, but Sifu was definitely not easy. And they say MBG's not a gamer. Yeah, well, I guess it's because I guess I do this stuff on my own, and I'm not. It's funny too because I actually, ironically enough, both of those games that I just mentioned that I platinumed, I posted the clips on my Twitter account of me unlocking the platinum. Don't go there, Hanzo. Shems, you're saying Liza P was easy. What the F? Hold on now. Hold on. I want to clarify. The reason why the platinum was so difficult for me was because Shems, as you might know, if you want to get the platinum, you have to fight the optional boss. Like there's an optional boss. Like you don't have to do the boss battle to beat the game, but in order to beat it, you have to defeat this optional boss. And I'm pretty sure you have to defeat him twice. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to defeat him twice because there's like two alternate endings essentially. And what I had ended up doing is I had already went to New Game Plus and I played through the entire game in New Game Plus, and I realized that, oh man, I basically constructed it in such a way where the only way I was going to get the platinum was I had to defeat this last optional boss in New Game Plus specifically, which made it twice as hard. And it almost broke me, dude. Like it took like so long for me to do it, but and I was kicking myself in the ass because I'm like, it didn't have to be this way. It could have been so much easier. You're saying, okay, I only finished it once, no plat. Base game was easy. I also beat the last optional boss. Yeah, beating the optional boss, I wouldn't say is like super easy. It's relatively difficult, but unlike on the first playthrough, he's pretty difficult. But on New Game Plus, I basically had to like reconfigure my build over and over and over again until I just got the right. I mean, I was pulling out every trick in the book that I could to try to kill this guy, and yeah, like I was like freaking out. I'm like, there's no way this is going to be the thing that stops me, because that was the last thing I need to do. I just need to beat this one last boss, and if I do that, I get the platinum. And it really felt like it was defeating me, man. I'm like, I can't do it. What third arm were you using? God, man, I think I still have the footage. I'd have to go back and watch because I did record like when I finally beat him. I honestly went through every configuration, so I can't. I feel like I basically ended up using, if I remember correctly, I basically used this shield, and I had like a really powerful weapon in my right hand. And so what I had to try to do was basically, as much as I could, block. Because if you use the shield, you can block and still attack. There's like a upgrade path you can unlock where you can attack while you're blocking. And that's basically, I had to desperately just block as long as I could before the bar ran out and just beat the shit out of this guy, you know? And then after I did that as many times as I could, from that point forward, it was like, okay, you can't block anymore. Now you just got to dodge. And that's when, you know, it was interesting. I might have to go back and rewatch that footage because that was it was an amazing game. Oh, by the way, Lies of P is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. So I might end up going back to it, man. Or I know that they have a DLC coming out. You farmed a bunch of throwables. I think I used throwables too. Yeah, I did everything, bro. I'm like, I need to just kill this guy any way I can. Great game, man. Great game. We have a direct donation from, let's see, we have Scott Taylor. Thank you, buddy, for the $5 donation. He says, why did Sony abandon the 50+ million OG console owners? All the nice new console covers are only for the Slim. What the hell? You know what? I didn't think about that. That is shitty. Damn. I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. I had no idea. So, yeah, you're talking about the new Chroma color collection that they announced. Wow. That is pretty shitty, dude. You can't get them for the original PlayStation 5. They're not making plates for that. That's beat. I don't know. I don't know why they did this. I guess it's just one of these things where they were just like, well, we're just moving on to the. No, we're not talking about the slim plates on the PS5 Pro. We're talking about the original, like the base model PS5, the single plate on both sides. I think he's saying that the new Chroma collection, Sony decided that they're not going to offer this collection for the original PlayStation 5. You can only buy the plates for the Slim. But yes, apparently we did get confirmation that you can use the PS5 Slim plates on the PS5 Pro. But yeah, that sucks, man. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, my guess is they just figured, like, maybe this will get somebody to buy Slim. And I hope it's not that. Okay, you're saying, have you seen the Until Dawn remake comparisons? They completely changed and, in my opinion, ruined the atmosphere of one of my favorite PS4 games. I haven't seen many comparisons. Maybe I can look into it. Before I do that, though, wait, you're saying Mystic said you can't use those plates on the Pro? Let me look into this. One week ago, PS5 Pro and PS5 Slim plates are not interchangeable. So somebody asked PlayStation support, and PlayStation support replied by saying, no, the PS5 Pro and PS5 Slim do not share the same plates for all 4 areas. While the PS5 Pro and PS5 Slim have a similar design language, there are some key differences. The PS5 Pro has a slightly different shape and a different venting system, which means the plates won't be interchangeable. Specifically, the top and bottom plates are different between the two models. Okay. So scratch what I said. It's the opposite. apparently they're going to have to put out plates for the Pro specifically. Hellbound says there is some info from Sony. The slim plates are not compatible. You're saying Tech Radar are the ones that said the plates fit? Yeah, I remember when the PS5 Pro was first announced, like in the blog post, it specifically said that the way that they worded it is that you'll be able to use different plates when they become available. And that to me confirmed that, oh, so the current plates don't work. Like, yeah, they don't. The disk drives and the stands are universal. So you can use them across both. MBG Analyst Today Bits has a good short video of the Until Dawn comparison. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I want to move on to talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake, and then we're going to talk about Until Dawn, and I actually wanted to watch both of those videos. I want to watch the comparisons between the original Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 2 Remake. No spoilers, of course, just graphics, and also with Until Dawn. So if I go over here to, again, Metacritic, if we look at the reviews, so there's actually 55 critic scores now. It was 49, now there's 55, and it's still holding on to an 87 on Metacritic. 5 of all the reviews are mixed, and 48 are positive. IGN Japan gives it a 10 out of 10. PSX Brazil, a 10 out of 10. Voxel, a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer says, against the odds, Blooper Team has delivered a remake that both expands Silent Hill 2 in just the right places and gives careful attention to what it preserves. IGN France, 10 out of 10. IGN Italia, 9.5 out of 10. Atomics, 9.5 out of 10. Let's see. Checkpoint Gaming, 9 out of 10. Gaming Bible, 9 out of 10. Push Square gave it a 9 out of 10. Push Square says... Oh, hold on. It's not letting me... I can't read what they said, but... GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. PC Games gave it a 9 out of 10, saying, a feast for horror fans. After Alan Wake 2 and the Resident Evil 4 remake, Silent Hill 2 now delivers. The dark season can come. Game Rant gives it a 9 out of 10. I'm just working my way down here. Screen Rant, 8 out of 10. VGC gave it an 8 out of 10, and they said Silent Hill 2 is a skillfully handled retelling of one of the medium's most loved survival horror games. It stays faithful to the original, to a fault at times, but breathes enough new life into it to simultaneously ensure that longtime fans will appreciate the respect shown, while newcomers won't find it antiquated. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Silent Hill 2 is a great way to visit or revisit one of the most dread-inducing destinations of the survival horror, or of survival horror. I'm checking their full review here. I want to see what the pros and cons are that are listed, if they do that, because the review is very long. Okay, they didn't. So the verdict from IGN on Silent Hill 2 Remake is Silent Hill 2 is a welcome modernization of a survival horror masterpiece. It smoothly polishes down the rough edges of the original game's combat while taking a piece of heavy grit sandpaper to scuff up every rust and mold-covered surface of its nightmare environments, successfully making them appear far more abrasive and menacing to explore. Previously primitive boss battles have been transformed into substantially more intense encounters, and its intimidating audio design kept me acutely aware of every fog-cloaked street I walked down. Every fog-cloaked street I walked down could quickly hurry me towards my own dead end. It does feel a little padded out in parts, but I do wish that Blooper Team had streamlined some of its more convoluted puzzle sections to prevent the story's momentum from sagging on occasion. Still, intermittent pacing problems aside, Silent Hill 2 is a great way to visit or revisit one of the most dread-inducing destinations in the history of survival horror. So I will say, that makes me a little nervous. Not really nervous, but just very, very basically, I'm a little nervous at the idea of the puzzles. Like, I don't know. I don't mind puzzles in games. But I am not a fan of when puzzles start to begin to ruin the momentum. But maybe that's like somewhat subjective, you know. Like if somebody has a hard time solving the puzzles and it takes them a lot longer, you know. But I think that there's an option in there to make them like easier or something. I'll see. I'll judge for myself. But it just seems, I guess I'm pointing that out because it seems like, I don't know, that was the only negative that they listed, is that the puzzles seem to mess with the pacing a little bit, but you love hard puzzles. Arnie Vesper, you're saying, check David Hayter. He just spoke about recording again. I saw that. Yeah. Arnie Vesper, I know what you're talking about. David Hayter posted on his Twitter that he just got done a recording session in a booth for a character that he hasn't played since ... And he like didn't say who it was for, but it's like, bro, surely you're talking about Snake. Like, no offense to David Hayter, I know he's done other roles, but surely you only tweet something like that when you're talking about Snake, right? I don't know. That's what most people are going to assume. That's what I'm going to assume. Guyver. Oh, it's Guyver. I don't know what that is. Is this true? Saying there's a setting that can lower the puzzle difficulty and other settings that changes the game's difficulty so it's not a problem. Interesting. Okay. You're just throwing things out there. I mean, to me, the timing of him saying that is what's interesting. Like, David Hayter's posting something like that in the middle of the marketing for Metal Gear Solid 3 being, you know, being all over the place. Let me go check the low scores here. So here are all the mixed scores. Game Reactor UK gives it a 7 out of 10. Tech Radar Gaming gives it a 7 out of 10, saying Silent Hill 2 is a visually stunning remake that captures much of the original's ambiance, but it could be more delicate with its difficult themes and pacing. Being more delicate with its difficult themes. What? I don't understand. Like, what does that mean? Like, the pace, you know, having a problem with the pacing, I think is okay, but yeah, I don't know what that means. It's psychological horror. I don't know that it's meant to be delicate. Like, delicate's a weird word to use, man. Yeah, like does that imply they want it toned down? See, this is why, man. This is why. Every time with these games, and I see these like lower scores, there's always something bizarre there where it's like, what are you talking about? Saying YouTube keeps crashing on you. It's happening to me too a lot. Well, that's what Tech Radar Gaming said. The Gamer gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. And they said, much like James Sunderland, we have returned to Silent Hill, but what was once our special place has changed. Thankfully, enough of what made it special remains and will likely warm the cockles of nostalgic fan hearts and newcomers alike, even if you'll have a look past some of the garish new additions in the process. Hold on. We have Games Radar Plus also giving it a 7 out of 10. Let me see if I can get there. Games Radar Plus gives it a 7 out of 10. Pros, atmospheric and layered horror game, varied mix of exploration and puzzle solving, great scares and a grinding sense of menace. Cons, stays too close to the source material, enemies lack character. Enemies lack character. What? What? How is that even possible? What, like, I'm being, like, this is a remake, bro. How is that possible? Like, I could see it if a negative was like, they changed the character, but, like, how does it lack character? Because the nurses, they do aid you. Yeah. The enemies are, yeah, you're saying the enemies are iconic. This is weird. Also, stays too close to the source material. What the fuck? Like, what? Dude, this is why, dude. Like, it's frustrating to see this type of stuff because it's like, oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Silent Hill 2 remake. You're talking about Silent Hill 2, the game that people are terrified they're going to go too far away from the source material. But of course we get a review that comes in and says, yeah, they stayed too close to the source material. And it's frustrating because it feels like at times, sometimes these studios are like, they're just not given a fair shake. Like, they're set up to fail, where it's like, I don't get it. I thought the whole concern was they were going to go too far away from the source material, and that was the concern everybody had. And then you're out here listing it as a negative. Whatever, man. That's weak. I'm not even trying to, like, be defensive here. I mean, I am being defensive. I don't mean to come off as like Konami or Silent Hill Defense Force or whatever, but it's just like, that's pretty weak, bro. All right, the lowest score, by the way, is a 6 out of 10. And, you know, let's read the, oh my God, okay, this is not in English. All right. Let's read the 6. I don't know if I'm going to be, okay, this is way too long to read. Resident of The Last of Us. From the very first contact with the Silent Hill 2 remake game, you can feel that the strongest inspirations for the creators were Capcom's contemporary achievements in the arena of Resident Evil remakes and the gameplay of The Last of Us by Naughty Dog. The camera angle was borrowed from the first series, allowing for a better appreciation of the work of the graphic designers and modern technologies, and I admit that the thick fog looks phenomenal and extremely atmospheric, as do the locations that base their suggestive atmosphere on great gameplay of lighting and dynamic shading. The problem, however, is that while in the Resident Evil series, such a camera makes sense in terms of gameplay because these are games in which we mainly shoot or avoid enemies. In the case of Silent Hill, it does not quite work. James fights mostly with melee weapons, and such a close set camera usually interferes and is uncomfortable during fights, even despite the fact that the locations were expanded specifically for this purpose. In more chaotic moments, it is still difficult to aim at the enemy. And since we're on the subject of combat, the combat in the new Silent Hill 2 is reminiscent of the aforementioned Last of Us. James, like Joel, roars furiously, swinging his weapon, and the attacks smoothly transition into simple combinations of blows with very dynamic camera shots and the ability to quickly draw a firearm, for example, to end the sequence with a satisfying shotgun shot. However, in my opinion, it's too intense and somehow doesn't fit the original character of the game. Oh my God, dude. These are real professional reviews that are counted that affect these people's hard work and scores that they get. It's too intense. I don't understand, man. I like I watched, man. I watched it myself. Hold on. I watched the gameplay myself, and I saw like, yeah, James is swinging for his life, bro, and he's like, he's exasperated. He's trying to beat the shit out of whatever this thing is to survive. In addition, the combat animations look awkward, which gives the impression of a budget execution, and the implemented auto aiming can be annoying. This person says, in addition, hold on. They say, in addition, the combat animations look awkward, which gives the impression of a budget execution, and the implemented auto aiming can be annoying. Good luck breaking the glass in the first aid cabinet if you kill an opponent there, because James will be trying hard to finish off the corpse instead of breaking the glass and taking out the medicine. The biggest problem with this fighting is that there's a hell of a lot of it, and the enemies are incredibly tough. The whole thing becomes terribly annoying and genuinely tiring because of this. Although I appreciate that not every enemy blindly flies at us, and some of the monsters try to lure us into a trap by running away and then camouflaging themselves in the surroundings. Nevertheless, this game definitely doesn't stand up to combat, although it tried very hard to convince me of that and often forced me into it, imposing itself at every turn of subsequent fights. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like it just sounds like this guy flat out sucks at this game. Right? You're saying the combat is a mess? Dude, I don't know, man. I've seen plenty of videos with the combat. It looks pretty good. It looks like a good balance between what I would expect in Silent Hill, which is, yeah, this guy is not an action hero. So I wouldn't expect him to be, like Leon out here roundhousing people, but it does look like it was modernized a bit to make it, you're going to feel a little bit more capable this time, just a little bit more. I sucked at the game, 6 out of 10. All right, let me read the final verdict here. Oh my God, this is long. She says, creating a faithful remake to Silent Hill 2, one of the most idolized survival horror games in history, is a monumental task. Did the Polish team Blooper Team manage to do it? Well, it depends what you mean by that. Silent Hill 2 Remake is a good game, terrifying in its atmosphere, inducing a constant sense of paranoia in the player, and not resorting to frequent jump scares, although we do encounter them occasionally. However, matching the original seems impossible to me. I doubt any studio would be able to do it, not even the original Team Silent. The very concept of Silent Hill 2 Remake puts the creators in a no-win situation. See, this is bullshit. Like, I'm stopping it there. Like, that's bullshit. Like, fuck you. You shouldn't be allowed to review this game, flat out. You just admitted it. Like, you just admitted it. Like, yeah, nobody's going to do a good job remaking this game. I've already determined that. So, fuck that. Then you shouldn't be qualified to review this, because that's such a bullshit take. Like, you're going in with that mindset, and that just feels totally unfair, considering, like, pretty much everybody else disagrees with you. Pretty much everybody else is like, they're doing a great job. I hate that shit, man. I hate that shit. I hate the idea of, like, if it's not literally the original game, there's just these people, I guess, where it's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the idea of, if you like an original game so much you believe it, nothing, like, no remake can touch it. I think that's fine. But I think it's not fine when you are somebody who is being tasked with reviewing the game and being professional and objective about it. That, to me, is where things get a bit unfair, because it seems to me like that type of individual should not be tasked with reviewing a remake. You know? No, that's just surprising to me. it seems like the only real negative that I'm seeing with this game, based off of the reviews, the only real negative I'm seeing with this game is that some people are saying the pacing is a little bit off. Like some people are saying that it seems like there is a bit of padding. And, you know, I'm not necessarily surprised to hear that because I thought it was interesting when they were like, yeah, Silent Hill 2 Remake is going to take like 16 hours to complete or something like that. Or like 14 hours. So I'm like, that seems pretty long. Like, I don't recall the original being that long. And I think basically it was this inherent fear, which is maybe there sometimes, I guess, or maybe a lot of times, where it's like, we live in a time where if a game that was made in 2001 or released in 2001 and takes like 8 to 10, maybe 8 to 9 hours to complete, right? Something like that. And then you're going to remake it today and you're going to ask for $70, people are going to be like, I don't think that 8 hours is worth the $70. And I can, you know, I can understand, like, if you're a developer or publisher, you maybe have that fear where it's like, well, we gotta find a way to make sure that the play time is a little bit longer than that, or people are going to feel like it's not worth it. And that's why I always get concerned when people are judging a game's value off of its length. Like, don't get me wrong, in extreme instances like the Order 1886, or even like recently like Hellblade 2, where it's like 5 hours, it's like, okay, yeah, that's problematic if you're asking for full price, right? To me, that's very problematic because that's like just simply too short. I don't care how amazing the game is, like, that's too short, right? But when we're talking between like 8 and 12 hours, and it's like, yeah, that's what it is, man. It's an 8 to 12 hour experience. I mean, could a game come out and only be 5 hours long and somehow feel worth $70? Maybe. Maybe. That's how I feel, Matt. You're saying IGN said the playthrough was about 15 hours, which is solid for a game like this. I'm in agreement with that. Yeah. I would be okay if it was shorter, but I don't know, man. To me, it seems to me like some reviewers, not many, but some reviewers. Oh, also, by the way, I think Metacritic screwed up here because I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of this review. The reviewer gave it a 7 out of 10, not a 6 out of 10. But if you go on Metacritic, they're listing it as a 6 out of 10. But they scored it a 7. So I don't know if that's going to make a big difference or not, but it could. That could be the difference, I guess, between an 87 and an 88 on Metacritic. But it does seem to me like maybe the only real problem, or the only real valid criticism, is that some people feel that the pacing of the game has been altered somewhat, whether it be due to more combat being in the game, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to having more combat in the game, as long as it's not like Resident Evil 4 level of combat where it's like every turn there's just more combat, you know? That's fine, because that shouldn't be what Silent Hill is. But if they wanted to add a little bit more because they modernized the gameplay, you know, and the combat feels good and satisfying, then I'm fine with that. But all right, we're gonna watch the video now. Just give me a moment to bring it up. Hold on. I don't think it's up for you guys yet. So I'm going to keep it muted because he just plays this really annoying music the whole time. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the music. And I don't know that this is an 18-minute long video. I don't think we're going to watch the whole 18 minutes, but we'll watch a chunk of it. Why is it not showing up for you guys? There we go. So again, I'm going to keep the audio muted because it's It's just this like trap music that plays. Make sure it's coming through for you guys, okay? And that's crazy. Let me see if he's playing ignoring music. Oh, okay. All right. This is fine. I thought he was playing a different music. That's actually pretty nuts, dude. It looks so good, man. I gotta say, like, I'm very impressed with the graphical fidelity that Bloober team pulled off here. Holy shit, you can go in the water now. So you can, I guess, enter like new buildings now that in the original you couldn't. Dude, I absolutely love the music of Silent Hill, dude. It's so good. It's so disturbing. You're saying the original still looks good. Team Silent are legends. I agree, man. Silent Hill 2 still holds up. Oh, holy shit. That might be the biggest upgrade I've seen so far. That's crazy looking. Yo, is it just me, or do the enemies seem like way more difficult in the remake? Or yeah, maybe their aim was just really bad. I don't know. Dude, these new puzzles got me nervous, man. You know, I do want to say, in watching this comparison from the original to the remake, you know, seeing them just put together like this, it really does make me appreciate just how good some of these older games are. Like the original Silent Hill 2, like it's still, like, in some ways, the fact that it's so limited technologically, like where it's like missing details, you know, due to the graphical limitations at times, and the fog is even thicker, again, due to technical limitations. Like these workarounds, or just these limitations that Team Silent had to put there for the original Silent Hill 2, it's crazy to think that like it just somehow made the game even more disturbing and unsettling, where the remake is still clearly very disturbing and unsettling, but in a way it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, in the original Silent Hill 2, looking back at it now, it's almost like it seems like it's kind of a warped dreamscape, nightmarescape thing that like seems like it could be real, but it's maybe not, and it's very disturbing because of that. And I feel like that's what's interesting about adding like this detail and this level of realism is it's just interesting. It's interesting to see the way it kind of translates. But basically what I'm trying to say is I'm giving Team Silent a lot of credit, man, where even seeing the remake compared to it, it's still like the original still holds up so well. And in just some ways, like, I do understand that there are certain aspects of the original that you will not be able to capture with a remake. There are just some aspects, and I think this goes for all like original games, especially when they get big remakes. Like if you go play the original Silent Hill 2, or you go play the original Resident Evil 2, or the original Resident Evil 4, or you go play Metal Gear Solid 3 after the remake comes out, there's just going to be certain things that will not be able to be carried over to the remakes. And they're hard to explain and describe, but they live there and they live there alone. But at the same time, the remakes will offer something that will not be present in the original. And this is why I'm not opposed to remakes, you know? Remakes are awesome, especially when they're this far apart, because it's like, if you're somebody who plays this and you're like, you know, I like the original better, the original is always going to be there. Like, what makes the original great is never going to go away. But if you're somebody who enjoys the remake, then I think it's just a whole nother experience. But we'll watch like another minute or two here, and then we'll move on to Until Dawn. Oh, and I'm sorry, guys. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. As we're looking at this comparison, if you look to the left, if you look at the original, I'm sure you notice, like, man, it looks like it's got this really intense, like, film grainish look. It looks a lot. The colors look much more muted. It almost looks black and white. It's not black and white, but the colors look very muted. It's got this thick film grain. For those who don't know, they have this filter available in the remake. So if you want the remake to have the exact same type of filter that you see here with the original, they do have that as an option, which is awesome. And I wonder if at any point they show that in this. I don't know if they do or not. That OG melee combat, though, am I right? Marius, you're saying watching the PC version, the other videos about the PS5 and the performance mode looks awful. The mode most of us will play. Please check it out. I didn't know there was a... Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So this is the one where I think I'm going to have to... So, hold on. It says here 1080p 60 upscaled to 4K, dynamic 1440p 30 FPS upscaled to 4K. I mean, you could see a slight difference, but I wouldn't say it's like massive or anything. Yeah, they should enhance this game for the PS5 Pro. I hope they do. So there's the fog and quality mode. So it does look like there might be a bit of a decrease in the fog in the performance mode. Oh yeah, for sure. That's interesting. To me, that does make a difference right there. Saying the lighting is completely different. Yeah, you can see a difference, but I don't know. It's not like I wouldn't say it's massive. There is a lighting difference. Yeah, you can see that though. I feel like he's looking a lot more on the quality mode than the performance mode. The frame rates seem pretty good mostly. Drop the frame there. It's probably not coming through as clear for you guys since it's like super compressed, and it's also capped at 1080p on the stream. Oh wow, okay, yeah, you could big difference in the shadows here. See, yeah, this right here is why it would be cool to see the game PS5 Pro enhanced because I mean it's an Unreal Engine 5 game and Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting PS5 Pro enhanced. Oh, there it is. There's the 90s filter. There we go. Man, that looks creepy as shit. The 90s filter really does look disturbing. The 90s filter looks so good, man. It makes everything look even darker. It does look really good. Yeah, you can see a difference in the lighting. It's not I don't think it's to me it's not massive, but you can see it when you see it compared like this. Reflections. Mm, not seeing much of a difference here. I don't think there's a PC comparison yet. What settings am I going to play Silent Hill 2 on? I'll mess around a bit. I mean, I'm pretty much used to playing my games at 60 FPS. But I might give it a shot. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I know oh wow, okay, the performance is dipping a lot here in the performance mode. It's dropping to like the low 50s, in the high 40s. What is going on here? Yeah, wow, look at that. It's almost getting into the 30s. Yeah, it looks like Bloober Team's gonna have to do some more optimization here. There is a day one patch. Do you think this was captured without the patch? Yeah, I mean, if this wasn't patched out, I mean, we're looking at an area that's damn near dropping down into the 30s. If they patch it, that's cool, you know. Because if they don't, I'm gonna assume, yeah, we're gonna need that Pro. But I don't know. I know this is gonna sound crazy to some people, but I almost wonder if a game like this, if I would actually be okay playing it at 30 FPS. I don't know. It's gonna be hard. I don't know if it'll be hard to go back. It probably will be, but like I said, I'm used to playing all my games at 60 now, so I don't know, dude. We'll have to see. Either way, though, it's looking pretty good. I mean, other than that massive performance dip, that's probably the most concerning thing, but it does look pretty good overall. Reflections. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you could see a pretty noticeable dip. Serious question: you're gonna wait for the PS5 Pro to play Silent Hill 2? No, I'm not waiting, man. Not for Silent Hill 2. Not for Silent Hill 2. Yeah, something seems to be going on here with this performance mode. It's definitely got some issues. Saying this is BS, enjoy the game. Oh no, I'm gonna enjoy. Like, dude, I don't give a shit about the performance issues. I'm playing this game. If I have to play it at 30, I'll play it at 30. But you know, some people are definitely going to be a bit frustrated with some of these dips here. I mean, I'll be honest, man. Like, some of these dips look so bad that it makes me think like there is going to be a patch, because this, like, this looks, you know, I'm pretty sure Bloober Team would know, like, our game's dropping into the mid 40s. You think the PS5 Pro will boost it? Oh yeah, that's true. That's actually a good point. The PS5 Pro's raw power. I guess it depends if the frame rate's unlocked. I mean, if the frame rate in the performance mode is going all over the place, then it must be unlocked. So the Pro seems like it could actually help stabilize the frame rate here with the performance. But I think we get the idea. Yeah, I don't know, man. Other than the performance issues that I think probably need to be taken care of, I think it looks amazing. I'm super stoked for Silent Hill 2. But what I want to do now is we're going to transition from Silent Hill 2 to Until Dawn. I'm going to bring an Until Dawn video up as well. Just give me a second. And I want to read this report to you guys about Until Dawn 2. All right. So before I play the video because I do want to watch it with you guys. Boss, get away from my wires. I had this report says Until Dawn 2 in development at Sony's Firesprite Studio. It was previously leaked that Firesprite Studio is working on a dark, narrative-driven game with all signs pointing to the horror genre. Seems like the game is Until Dawn 2, a sequel to Supermassive's 2015 cult classic. The Until Dawn 2 rumor comes from Xbox era co-founder Special Nick Baker via X. Hold on. Boss, you got to get down, bro. You got to get down. You can't come up here. Sorry, bud. The rumor comes from Special Nick Baker via X. In a recent quote tweet, Baker remarks he's annoyed that he couldn't leak the sequel himself. However, he did share that the rumored game is developed by Firesprite. So Nick Baker saying that Firesprite is in fact working on Until Dawn 2, but putting Nick Baker aside, if you read job descriptions, it seemed pretty clear that they were working on Until Dawn 2 because they damn near describe the exact type of gameplay that Until Dawn has. And hopefully, I don't think this is spoiler territory, but just so everybody's aware, like people who have beaten the game, there seems to be some type of hint. I'm not going to say what it is. I don't even know what it is, but people are saying that there's like a direct hint that they're going to be doing a sequel. And Shems comes in. Shems, thank you so much, bro. Shems drops 5 more membership gifts on you guys. He's dropping the 5 bomb. Love to see that type of support. Shems, thank you for keeping the member train going today. Guys, we are now at 12 members on the day. So I just want to encourage you guys as we continue on with the stream. Let's try to hit that goal. It's cool if we can't. But we're at 12 members. If we hit the goal of 25, we'll feed Boss. Boss is getting a bit antsy. But thank you guys for the continued support. And Shems, thank you for dropping the 5 bomb. Let me update this and we'll watch this video. So, guys, before I put the video on, are you surprised that Firesprite is the one working on Until Dawn 2? I'm not. I've been following them for a while. I've been reading their job descriptions. I'm like, that sounds like Until Dawn 2. Yeah, and if you could do me a favor before we put this video on, make sure you hit the like button to help the stream out. But let's check it out. Let's see what's going on with Until Dawn. Oh wow, there's some massive changes there. Really quick before I proceed. Yeah, they changed a lot. Wow. The camera angle is completely different. The level of detail is much higher. Although it seems like with the PS4 version, the lighting is completely different. The color grading is completely different. It seems like the contrast is extremely different as well. But also they have a thick layer of fog. Interesting. So right off the bat, you could see huge differences. You know what? I will say though, looking at both of these side to side, I could see why some people are like they like the original better. Because it seems like the original is very stylized in a way. Let me see if he's playing this annoying music or not. Yep. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was muted. My bad. So what are we thinking here? What are we thinking? I mean, you can see a noticeable graphical fidelity improvement here. But it's like, I don't know, man. They really changed it up quite a bit. I mean, if you look at the fur on her coat here, it's more detail on her face. You think the PS4 looks better? Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on with the overall art direction and art style of the original. It's got like it seems like it has a huge like blue filter, like a very high blue filter essentially. And it seems like with what we're seeing here on the right with the new one with the PS5, it seems like it's very much like brightening it up. And I could kind of see how people, it is a horror game. So I could see how people are like, I'm not so sure. They did something to her face. Oh, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. Oh my God, that's nuts, dude. They completely changed the gameplay. So now it's over the shoulder. It used to be a fixed camera angle. I didn't know that. Wow. I didn't realize the changes were this drastic. Okay, now it seems to have gotten darker. Yeah, from what I understand, the beginning of the original game was basically already set at night, and they decided to change it to where it's kind of set at sundown. Oh, we got a direct donation. Let me see. We have a direct donation from who the hell is Carlos? He says, I had the original game on PS4 and for some reason can't upgrade for $10. Also, I agree the original looks way better, especially with the blue/yellow. You can't upgrade for $10 because for some reason Sony is not offering a $10 upgrade path for this game. Which is, I mean, I don't know. Until Dawn came out in 2015 and Horizon Zero Dawn came out in 2017. So that's a 2-year difference. For some reason, Sony's giving a $10 upgrade, which is good for Horizon Zero Dawn, but not this. Because this is technically a remake. Yeah, I think it's because they switched engines. They probably decided that while it probably did require a lot more work switching the engines. I don't know. Like, I got to see more shots to determine which one I think looks better. I mean, you can see a graphical increase with the PS5 version or the remake, but yeah, I mean, they drastically changed it looks so different, dude. Oh, there was an unlocked frame rate for the PS4. Holy shit, that frame rate on the PS4 is all over the place. They really changed a lot, though. PS5 is only 30 FPS. Really? No way. No, surely they have a performance mode, I would imagine. Sony has not released a game that doesn't have a performance mode. If Until Dawn if they only offered 30 FPS, that would be the first time Sony did that. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I'm watching this, and all right, you could see a pretty significant difference there. It's unlocked. Oh, so they don't have a performance mode, but the frame rate's just unlocked. Whoa, that's really weird. That's really, really weird. Sony has not done that. Of all the games, too, why this game? This game seems like it should easily be able to hit 60. I like this guy. He's a good actor. I mean, you can see the improvements, but I don't think the PS5 version looks bad or anything. But I can understand. I can understand what people are saying where they're looking at the graphical, like they're looking at the change. Ballistic Moon seemingly really made a big change with the overall feel of the game, the graphical style. Like it still looks good. Like the PS5 version I'm seeing right now, like this does look good. But if you're somebody who did play the original, I can see how it's like, oh, well, I don't know. That's like, these almost look like two different games, in a sense. It looks a lot darker too, I will say. That's interesting because it seems like they start out like this scene, it looks darker on the PS5. Is it getting a pro mode? Actually, it is. Yeah. Until Dawn is confirmed to be supporting the PS5 Pro. So actually, this is the game I'll probably wait to play till I get the PS5 Pro. Because you just reminded me they did confirm they're doing a PS5 Pro enhancement. Oh, wow. Okay. You could see a huge difference here. Or maybe that's a difference in the lighting. This is interesting, dude. Oh my God. How is it dropping below 30 though? Bro. How is it dropping below 30? Ballistic Moon. Come on. What are you doing? I'm not saying it's a huge deal, but like, shit, man. So one of the biggest differences I'm noticing when watching this, like watching the cutscenes, is the lighting really, I will say, they went with much more realistic lighting on the PS5 version. And I think that's like a big thing that people are maybe saying it's like changing the feel or the atmosphere because a lot of these different sections you see, like right here, look at the lighting difference here. On the left, it looks like a movie. Like for the PS4 version, it looks like a movie, as in it looks like there's overhead lights. And I guess, it's the moonlight, but it's very bright. It looks like there's like actual, like if it was filmed like a movie, there would be overhead lights. If you look on the PS5, this looks more accurate to what it would look like, realistic, if we're being totally realistic, this would be like nearly pitch black. The PS5 version, if we were talking about like the most realistic lighting, it wouldn't be completely pitch black, but it would be even darker than this. You'd only have the moonlight reflecting the snow, which would make it a little bit brighter, but it would be very, very dark. And I wonder if something like that is kind of what's throwing people off, where in a way, it's like it's supposed to be a very cinematic movie looking game, and having this kind of like change in lighting, I guess, could kind of influence people. Kyle Say Stuff, you're saying I played the remake for around. Oh wait, hold on. Why is your Hold on. Your chat is cut off here. Let me check it. Sorry, having some technical difficulties here. Kyle Say Stuff, you're saying, I played the remake for around 2 hours and was quite disappointed. This is one of those games where it is definitely better with graphics, but somehow is worse because it's a story game and the art style is more important. Very interesting. Well, I appreciate you letting me know, Kyle. I wonder if this is ultimately going to be something that most people are disappointed with. And it makes me wonder, like, I wonder what Sony, like, I wonder how Sony must feel about that. If most people determine, because I didn't play the original, so it's not like as big. It's not a big deal to me. Like I'm fine playing the PS5 version. That'll be like the first version I experience. But I'm seeing what the PS4 version looks like compared to it, side by side, and I wonder what Sony's going to think of that. You know, like Sony, you thought that people would actually like this. They would be happy with this more realistic graphical overhaul for this game, but it turns out people are not happy, or most people aren't, because they decided that actually the original, it looks really good. Like it looks so good that it seems like any changes they tried to make here, in the eyes of a lot of fans, it just feels like they made it somehow worse. And that's interesting. Novinzer, you're saying, in our memory, the PS5 version is how the PS4 version looked to us back then. That's why we say it looks the same. Yeah, I mean, I will say, dude, I'm looking at the PS4 version, and there is a graphical difference, but the PS4 version looks like it does hold up quite a bit. Like, I gotta say, I'm impressed. That was a huge change right there. Wait, all right, I want to see that again real quick. Hold on. All right, so this, I would say a shot like this, if you look at this, this is where you can see, I think, one of the biggest changes they tried to make. If you look at the PS5 version, it looks significantly more realistic than the PS4 version. But that's kind of the whole thing here. If you look at the PS4 version, just looking at the character models, looking at the materials of their clothing, and the faces are not, it does have this kind of charm to it. But at the same time, yeah. Oh, fun fact, by the way, what we're seeing on the PS4 version, that's the Decima engine. For those who don't know, the PS4 version was running on the Decima engine. The PS5 version is Unreal Engine 5. The character models are a night and day difference. Yeah, you could, I mean, I'm especially looking at the, I don't know the names of these characters, but the girl in the pink jacket, like I'm looking at the face and the hair. And yeah, it is a night and day difference, but again, like it's so weird because like I can still kind of see the charm. I'm telling you, man, this is where it goes to show that things like lighting, color grading, art style, I mean, these things are what people, I don't know, it does something in our brains. Because I will say, like, the biggest difference, if you want to know, between these two images right here is the PS4 version is significantly more stylized than the PS5 version. The PS5 version in this image is going for pure realism. The lighting is more realistic. Everything about the characters is more realistic. The facial expression, everything. It's trying to look like real life. And it's not to say that the PS4 version, I'm not saying it looks like a cartoon or something, but it's just more stylized. And you do have to start to question if maybe at some point developers should start focusing a little bit more so on stylization, stylizing their games a little bit more, rather than focusing on graphical fidelity. But I don't know. It's a tough thing because again, it's not like there isn't any level of realism with the PS4 version. There definitely is. Yeah. You're saying it's more complex than that. It's mostly the amount of geometry and the use of nanite. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. I don't mean to oversimplify it. I'm just. That's such a funny comparison right there. You see kind of how there's a lens blur effect or a focusing effect, I mean. Kyle Say Stuff with another super chat says the OG has a fixed camera, but it works well for the horror game where you can see more of the environment and scary hidden stuff, whereas the remake is third person and actually downgrades the horror feeling. Yeah, that's something I did not really fully understand with the original Until Dawn is I did read that they made some, they were emphasizing like we made changes to the, to the camera and we're using a more traditional third person camera. But I didn't realize, like, I guess it makes sense now. I don't know why I didn't realize that. Oh, so the gameplay was it was like a fixed camera, like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. I mean, you can see a huge increase in detail on that glove. The lighting, here we go. Okay, see, that's a major shift right there. Like they completely changed the time of day. I wonder why they did that. Yeah, you see a big change in the camera angle here. Did they remove him like jumping pumping his feet like that? Models. Oh wow. That's crazy. Well, that's a huge. You can see this is where you can see the difference. The level of detail on this character model's face is huge. Are you asking why my pupils are so dilated? Oh shit, I don't know. That's concerning. Are you guys nuts? You're saying this is a downgrade? Wait, hold on. You're saying the PS5 version is a downgrade compared to the PS4 version. Bro, you need to, I don't know, maybe it's not coming through because my stream, maybe it's not coming through because my stream's capped at 1080p, but no. If you're talking about, like, again, the color grading, sure. But if you're talking about, like, graphically, this is not a graphical downgrade. But I'm telling you, man, I think the reason why I think it's the camera angle change, and I think it's I really wonder right now. I really wonder if they had kept the exact same lighting and the exact same color grading. I really wonder if people would be saying that, or if they would be like, "Oh yeah, she's more man-like on the PS5, heavy on the jaw." No, it's just because it's zoomed in, dude. Her jaws. This is an actual actress, if I'm not mistaken. This is what's her name? She's a somewhat famous actress, Hayden something. But yeah, the camera's more zoomed in on the. No worries, no worries. They didn't. I don't think they pulled a Mary Jane here. Although I will say it. No, yeah, it looks good. The fog. See, that's a stupid decision right there. That to me is crazy. Like, they just were like, what if we just remove the fog? Why would you do that? They're like, let's just completely change the atmosphere. Kyle Say Stuff, you're saying, I think the main thing is it's more like a movie. It's like we prefer the old vintage film look and lighting art style for films and try to keep it. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here too. I think that's basically what it is people are like, man, somehow this doesn't, like, it does look better. Like, it's like, yeah, there's way more graphical detail, but it lost something. And what they just showed here, they just straight up removed the fog for some reason. I'm like, I don't understand the decision behind that. Digital Dude 25 says people will call anything woke these days. Remember when people were calling GTA 6 woke because there's a playable female character? Get ready for more of that when we get closer to launch. Clowns. Oh yeah. Yeah, so I said everything I had to say on that, Digital Dude. You are correct. We are going to see more of that. Absolutely. It's not over, but you know, I've said I had like 2 whole streams ranting about that, so can't wait to see more GTA 6. Thank you for the super chat, Digital Dude, and Kyle Say Stuff. Appreciate the support, guys. I want to see them show a side-by-side here. See, look at this. Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this? Like, this is not the same game. I mean, it is, but this is such a drastic difference in presentation. It's unbelievable. And I know it's a different time of day, but like, again, man, it just looks so different. Do you think they removed the fog because it's not dark yet? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, because maybe they kind of thought to themselves, like, we want to make the beginning of the game seem less scary. Because I will say, it is interesting if this is like the beginning of the game on the left side with the PS4, it like already looks scary. But I don't know. Maybe people like that. Again, maybe that's part of the charm that people liked. Spooky versus not spooky. Yeah. And Digital Dude 25 with another super chat says, I just don't get it. Do these people not have mothers or sisters? Trust me, Digital Dude. I get it, man. I ask myself the same question sometimes. I see the way people talk and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't, or they don't know them. I don't know. It's concerning though, Digital Dude. It's concerning. You're saying, who is Digital Dude even talking about here? I think he's talking about people who, like, basically anything they see, it's like, it's woke, you know? And we went into that, but we will find balance. We will find balance, and we will maintain balance. PS4 remasters are awkward. Let me see how much. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize we were this far in the video. That squirrel looks so realistic, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. The biggest thing I'm starting to question here is why they decided to. I mean, I understand why they wanted to go with maybe having the beginning, the sun still up, and it's like, you know, the sun is setting, but they made it so warm looking. They basically made it like orange, and I feel like that's kind of weird because it's like, I don't know, man. You're going from a cold blue to evoke a sense of just, I don't know, not blandness, but just, I don't know. It change. It's surprising how just even the change in the color temperature, it changes the entire mood. All right, here's another one with the models. So this is PS4. Um, Again, man, like, I mean, you can see there's a massive graphical upgrade or a pretty big graphical upgrade with the model, but like, why is the color tone on the right? Why is it warm, dude? I don't know. It's just such a weird decision to me. Maybe they'll explain. And we have a couple more super chats here. We have Digital Dude 25 with another chat. He says, I'm talking about the people who get upset because you got to play as a female in a video game. Yeah. Well, what I've learned, Digital Dude, is we need to ignore those people because if not ignore them, just try to like let them know that that's a pretty shitty reason to be upset about something. Like it's fine. Like if you're like, I don't want to play as a female in a video game, I think that's fine. But to basically get angry and upset about that, I don't think that's fine. I think that's like, well, you need to get some perspective. And yeah, that's again, it's about being able to separate the two where there are people who are upset for deeper reasons, or at least they believe they're upset for deeper reasons. And sometimes those reasons are valid. Other times it seems like they're not. And then there are people who get upset for just asinine reasons that I believe are like, well, no, you know? Kyle Say Stuff with another super chat says it kind of funny they went on to sunset setting in the remake since the main thing about the game, without spoilers, is trying to survive until dawn to see the sunlight, but you already see the sunlight here. Oh man. That makes it even, yeah. I guess I didn't really think about that literally, right? The name of the game, Until Dawn, surviving the night to see the daylight. Man, it does feel like it kind of removes a little bit of the allure, you know? You don't need to wait until dawn because we're showing it to you now. Dawn now. Almost dawn. No, I'm not. I know I'm being a little bit hard on the game right now, and it's a game I haven't played, so I'll see. I'll see how it turns out. I mean, I'm still looking forward to playing it. It does still. I want to make it clear, like it still looks very good to me. It's just I've seen a lot of people complaining about it, and I've seen a lot of people basically saying that like they don't like the changes that they made, and I understand that. I'm seeing what they're talking about, you know. But I still think it looks very good overall. All right, let's finish watching this video. Hold on, I lost it here. Why not play the PS4 version at a locked 60 FPS for cheap? Well, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I do like the way the new game looks. Like, I do agree that there are some, like, overall art style or just maybe lighting directions that I think. But I'll be honest, man. Like, maybe I'll play it afterwards. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it and compare it because I see that, like, the people who are saying that they don't like the third person camera, I do like that. I prefer that over a fixed camera angle. But I understand that for some games a fixed camera angle can work, and it can make it adds a kind of charm to it. Like that's crazy how different this looks right here. I mean, those are wildly different camera angles, but I'm not opposed to what I'm seeing on the PS5. Like I do think it looks good. But again, I understand where it's like if you played the original and that's what you remember and that, I think, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you played the original Until Dawn, there's no denying those camera angles. Those camera angles are very memorable. There's too much light in the game. A lot of people I saw in the chat are saying that it seems to be because, let me pause this. It seems to be because they're only showing the beginning parts of the game. And the beginning parts of the game are now being changed to where they're, the sun is still out, it's setting, but there's going to be more light because of that. But I'll definitely let you guys know myself, when I do play it. I think I'm going to wait now for the Pro version, though. I'll have to see, because I did forget that this game is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. But overall, I mean, I got to say, man, I'm kind of excited, Until Dawn, I heard, is a really good game. And I don't know, maybe when it's all said and done, after I beat it on PS5, maybe I'll go back and play it on PS4 and compare it and really determine if I like the PS5 version better or not. All right, let me get this out of here. Well, here's what I can say. All in all, I'm excited. I'm excited because it's October. It's spooky month. We're getting Silent Hill 2 Remake, which I think looks amazing. We're getting Until Dawn Remake, which I got to say, after seeing these comparisons, while I understand that some people are not too happy with the decisions that Ballistic Moon made with the remake, I still think it looks very good. And as somebody who's never played Until Dawn, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also especially happy that it's going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. I do wonder, like, if we're going to be looking at a 4K 60 FPS mode for Until Dawn on the Pro. But yeah, man, we're eating good. I think we are. And then at the end of the month, also there's Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, which I know not everybody's excited about that. And I'll wait till that is closer to release and we'll watch some comparisons of that. Enjoy what you want to play, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think people are gonna have fun. At least with I mean, it seems like a lot of people are. I want to mention this too. I'm interested to see how Until Dawn Remake sells, because this isn't throwing any shade to the game at all, but it really does seem like, from what I can tell, and I'm not saying the internet is a perfect way. It's certainly not. It's not I would even say not even a good way to gauge how a game's going to sell. But from what I've seen, anecdotally speaking, it seems like most people are not interested in this game. Like they're it's not that they have a problem with it. Until Dawn is a game that people consider very good, but generally speaking, people are just kind of like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to pass. Like they either feel like the game didn't need to be remade, or they're passing because there's not a $10 upgrade. Again, I'm pretty sure there is not a $10 upgrade for this, because I'm pretty sure it took a lot more work. I mean, it does seem like it basically is a remake where they completely remade the game. Like they had to port it to a completely new engine, and because of that, they probably had to build a lot of stuff, like rebuild it from the ground up. So I can understand from the studio perspective, when you're putting that much work into a project, regardless of how questionable it is, like, does this game need to be remade? The work is the work, you know what I mean? And Ballistic Moon is a new studio. I'm sure they probably need the money, I'll be honest. Like, it's probably another thing where if they just did $10 upgrades, I don't know if that would necessarily help the studio. And sorry, Kyle, say stuff. I missed your last chat here. You're saying, with that being said, can't wait for you to play it. It has a very good story and multiple endings with lots of twists. Please avoid spoilers until then. Yeah, that's why I didn't look any further into. Some people are apparently claiming that based off of, because I know there's like multiple endings, and I don't know. So I don't really know how people come to this conclusion. I don't want to know until I experience it myself. But basically, people are saying that there's a slight change to one of the endings, I guess, that indicates they're going to make a sequel of some kind. And that's interesting. Miguel, thank you. I'll be sure to let Mrs. MBG know, wishing her a happy birthday. Yes, Paul, it is Mrs. MBG's birthday. No, there is no $10 upgrade path for Until Dawn. So it's a $60 game on PS5 and PC. But here's the good news, though. Well, I don't know if it's good news, but there are options where if you do want to play you can play the PS4 version of this game. I think the frame rate gets boosted on the PS5. So you can play the PS4 version. I think it's only like $20 or something like that. I think it might even be on PlayStation Plus Extra. But if you want the new Unreal Engine 5, remade version, you will have to pay for that. But guys, listen, we are about to hit the 3-hour mark, and I didn't want to. I'm trying really hard not to, because I'm streaming more often. I'm trying hard not to overdo it and stream for too long on top of making videos. So I think this will be a good place to kind of wrap up today's stream. If you want to drop any more super chats or any more memberships, I will let you know. We're sitting at 12 members on the day, guys. If you want to hit that goal of 25 before we head out and feed the beast and feed boss, now would be the time to drop those membership gifts or to become a member. Again, if you have anything else you want to say and you want to drop any more chats, now is the time to do it. I'm going to be wrapping this up here in just about a minute or two. Titus, thank you, bro. I'll let Mrs. MBG know. Yeah, Miguel, we did cover that a little bit. There is seemingly going to be an Until Dawn 2. Fire Sprite is apparently the studio making Until Dawn 2. And that's going to be really interesting because Fire Sprite is not Supermassive. Fire Sprite is not Supermassive Games. Fire Sprite is a completely different studio. So it'll be very interesting to see where they go. Very interesting to see where they end up going with the Until Dawn series. Hopefully they don't ruin anything, Capono, you're saying, I wish I could give you more MBG. Forgive me. No, it's all good, man. Capono, I appreciate anything. Anything anybody can give to support the channel, if it's within their means, I appreciate it, man. You dropped a membership gift today. It means a lot to me. I'm out here trying to produce as much content as I can, trying to keep everything flowing as smoothly on the channel as I can. And, I feel like there's been many, many months of chaos where my my scheduling has been all over the place. I feel like I've done a pretty decent job over the last month or so, kind of locking somewhat of a fixed schedule down, and I think that makes it easier for you guys. No, so I never did get to the casting of Frank Stone yet, and I had a feeling that was going to happen. To be honest, what's really making me hold off is there's no physical version. I'm not usually like that, but I'm like kind of holding out hope that they're going to announce a physical copy or a physical version of the casting of Frank Stone, because I mean, it's from the same studio, Behavior Interactive. It's from the same studio that made Dead by Daylight, and Dead by Daylight did eventually get a physical version. So, I'm just kind of holding out and seeing if that's something they end up doing, because I would love to have a physical copy of that game. I really don't like buying games digitally unless I have to. And the last game I think I bought digitally, the last single player game was, I think it was Alan Wake 2, and I kind of regret it. I'm going to be honest. I regret it for multiple reasons. I regret it because they did eventually announce a physical version. And on top of that, they announced it's going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. So that's like one of those rare moments where, man, I really wish I actually didn't play that game and I just held off. Kyle Say Stuff, you're saying, I think they do this also for the PC market. Yeah, that's another thing I think some people overlook is I think Sony looks at bringing a game, whether it be a remake or a remaster, to PC as another opportunity to like, hey, we can help justify full price for this. But there's also that idea, like, when they decided to bring Until Dawn to PC, right? When they decided that, they think about how it would look. And I think sometimes people don't really think about it this way. If they decided to do what they did here with Until Dawn, hire Ballistic Moon, put it in Unreal Engine 5, improve the graphics, make some changes. If they decided to do that and then they announced, and it's just releasing on PC for $60, PlayStation players would be pissed, because they would be like, why are you only releasing it on PC? Why not release it on PS5? So that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, we'll release it on PS5 too. And that's why it's like, yeah, there is this kind of drive to... Here's what I think. And I guess this will be the last thing I say before I sign off here. And Starscream, I'll read your super chat in just a sec. I think that ultimately, underneath Herman Hulst, Sony basically wants to... They want to have big key franchises across as many different genres as possible. And I think that underneath Herman Hulst, when we look at something like Until Dawn, the way I see it is like, at some point, like 3 or 4 years ago, Herman Hulst decided, we're going to take Until Dawn, which was basically a dead IP, if you think about it, or just an IP they walked away from after 2015. We're going to take that and we're going to turn it into a franchise. Like, this could be a big franchise for PlayStation. And so here's how we're going to do it. We're going to bring it to PC. We're going to hire a team to spruce it up, bring it to PC, but we're going to do it for PS5 as well, because we can't just skip PS5. We're going to have a movie, and now we're going to task Firesprite, our internal studio, with making a proper full-blown sequel, probably for the PlayStation 6, and that'll be Until Dawn 2, and we're going to make it a franchise. I think that's the general approach that Herman Hulst is trying to take with all the different IP that we see right now. At least that's what makes sense to me, because I think that Sony wants Until Dawn to be a big, a big franchise that is kind of a name that people are like, oh yeah, Until Dawn 3, Until Dawn 2. When it comes to the movies, we're gonna have a whole line of movies. I think this is what they want to do, and I don't think it's a bad idea, because it's like, yeah, Until Dawn was apparently a very good game that people really loved, and it was kind of strange that they just walked away from it. So nobody seems to be upset at the prospect of getting more Until Dawn. It just seems like right now the only thing people are a little bit upset about is like, well, we get that you want to franchise this stuff, but do you really have to remake all this stuff? It's like, well, that's where it gets a little bit more subjective. We have, let's see here, Starscream. You're saying California is changing the laws for digital purchases to no longer state ownership and now state it can be taken away. I'll keep buying physicals. Yeah, we did cover that on the stream, I think last week. And I think that's a good thing. You know, I think it's just good. There's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with if a buyer is, you know, on a digital storefront and they click buy now and a little notification comes up that just basically you consent to and just simply lets you know, like, you're confirming that you're buying the license to this product, not full ownership, right? And I don't think that's going to stop most people, but I just think transparency like that is good. I saw somebody say in response to that, I think it was ACM. I think he left a comment and he was like, you know, when you put your money, when you entrust your money to a bank, like, it's technically not your money anymore. Like, you're giving your money to the bank. You're giving them ownership of your money. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but I kind of get, like, the parallel he's trying to draw there. We're like, yeah, I understand, but I guess for me, it's like physical. My whole thing is I'm totally accepting of the fact that most people want the convenience of digital and they like digital better than physical. And most people are adopting digital at this point and moving away from physical. And that's fine. I completely understand. But I just hope, and I am confident that as the years go by, like, there will still be the option. Even if it's just a few of us still doing it, there will still be the option. With the PlayStation 6, here's the PlayStation 6. We're not shipping one with a disc drive. But don't worry, you can attach. We sell a disc drive separately. If you bought a disc drive for the PS5, you can attach that to the PlayStation 6. We still will make physical games. But, you know, it's just as we continue to see people move away from physical, I just want to make sure that the option is preserved, because once that option is taken away, that's when things become problematic, in my opinion, where it's totally fine if you don't care that you don't fully own your games digitally. I mean, it's not, the chances of them taking those games away from you are probably zero. But for those who do want to have a physical, tangible item that is fully theirs and can be played, hopefully, you would hope, offline, I don't want to see that option removed, you know? So anything that kind of just makes people more aware of the potential pitfalls in the long run of a digital-only future is something that I am all about. I'm all for that, you know? People should just know. That's all. Kyle Say Stuff with another super chat. Thank you guys so much for all the support. You're saying with no spoilers, MBG, there are lots of mechanics you can play with your controller that you can really immerse yourself. Kind of curious how PC works in this game, since some of the scary parts won't work. It's interesting you mentioned that, Kyle, because one of the things that Sony did recently release was I think a new update for the DualSense on, I think it was the DualSense Edge, but generally speaking, on the PC, like, you can now, if a game is DualSense supported on PC, I think if you hook your DualSense up, it will now work on PC. So maybe the idea is, the recommendation will be, if you're going to play it on PC, if you are able to, use a DualSense. But yeah, I don't know what these mechanics are that you're referring to. I'll be interested in seeing what they are. I've heard really good things about Until Dawn, so my expectations, I won't lie, they're pretty high. They're pretty high, and I think Mrs. MBG is interested in Until Dawn too. She seems to be fascinated in the type of game it is, where it's kind of like classic horror movie and ensemble cast and whatnot. So I'll be sure whenever I do, at this point, I'll probably play it on PS5 Pro. When I do, I'll definitely talk to you guys about it, give my thoughts. But guys, that is going to do it for today's stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And before I head out, I just want to, first off, I need to get Boss away from my stuff. I want to thank you guys for all of your continued support. Everybody who dropped a super chat, everybody who dropped a membership gift, anybody who dropped a direct donation, thank you so much. I couldn't do what I do here without your support. We have an amazing community, very generous community. We're totally fan funded. So thank you guys for being the sponsors of the channel. Is there a lounge today? No, I do apologize. It is Mrs. MBG's birthday, so I'm not going to be able to do a members launch today, but my hope is that we will be able to do some more members content in the upcoming week. One of the things that Mrs. MBG wanted to do, and we'll see, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but she wanted to do a member stream with me and her playing Overcooked together. I don't know. That sounds pretty chaotic to me. That game stresses me the hell out. But maybe we could do a little something special like that to kind of celebrate her birthday next week for members if we hit like a certain goal or something. But we will be doing some members lounges as well. So if you are a member, just please stay tuned, remain patient. We will be doing more members content. But all right, guys, that's going to do it. The only other request I have is please hit that like button on your way out to help the stream. See if we can bump that up to 200 likes. I want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter as well before I go. He does the timestamps. He does a great job. If you guys see him in the comments, show him some love. Give him some thanks. I know he really appreciates it. And I did put out a video earlier today as well. If you didn't check that out, feel free to do so. And that does it. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I will probably be back here on Sunday. We'll be back with our regular Sunday stream. And we'll hopefully have a whole fresh batch of topics to talk about and discuss. So, all right. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'm out. I will catch you in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.